We'll call the Select Board Budget Committee Joint Workshop to order. Please rise to salute the flag.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call. All Select Board members are present. Kevin is with us via Zoom. Budget Committee.
All the Budget Committee members are present.
Perfect. Number 3 is review the meeting minutes of February 25th. This is Budget Committee only.
Has all of the Budget Committee reviewed the meeting minutes of February 25th?
I did not print it because I knew this was a select board / joint budget committee, so it wasn't strictly a budget committee, so I did not print them.
I make a motion, we table it to the next meeting.
Second.
All in favor? All right, all agreed to push.
Perfect. The rest of the first page of our packet is your previous dates of meetings. Nothing we need to go over. Page 2 is today's date of the joint workshop, and the remaining meetings is next Wednesday. The Budget Committee votes on the budget, and on Wednesday, March 23rd, we have a combined meeting again with Budget Committee and Board of Selectmen to vote on the proposed budget. And after that, it'd be the town meeting of May 12th. So for tonight, we're here to bang our heads together to there is a estimated mill rate that we all need to figure out how we're going to get there. And I want to start by, Randy's got some information up on the screen that he wants to go over, and some thoughts and ideas that he has to get to that magical number. So we'll start with Randy, if we can. Nope. It's the PowerPoint one. The screen's too small.
We'll be there in a second.
Yeah.
No, it's the PowerPoint one. There you go. Okay, so.
Is it real easy to make that a little bit bigger or not?
Well, I was going to recommend you all turn around and look at the TVs.
Is this one
behind you.
easier?
Yeah. Let me know if that's going to work for you. There's a lot there. Okay, so what we're going to go through is we're going to go through the mill rate calculation for this particular year, so FY 26-27. I'll show you how we're getting at the numbers, give you some explanation, and then I've got some slides I thought we could use to walk through it, the budget section by section. We have some highlights there, and I thought it would be a good way to drive the discussion. So for those of you who can see it, items 1 through 6, that's where we set the value of the property in town. This one, we're saying it's going to be roughly 1.447 billion, and that is higher than what we had last year, and it's based on a conversation with Paul Bisnet. And he basically looked at what the trend was year to year to year. Property values go up, and as property values go up, they help the mill rate go down. So we're projecting about a $22 million increase over last year, which is somewhat conservative. Hopefully it'll be a little bit higher than that. And then, so that's sections 1 through 6. That's all you do, is you're getting to the value that you need to spread the expenses across. Then the next one, 7 through 11, that's how you get the amount of money in appropriations. So that's the total budgets all added together. So right now the county number is 824,319. Municipal all in with no offsets is 8,664,129. We're keeping the traditional 485,000 in TIF. We can talk about that more later if we need to. And actually, if you look to the right, I've got it in bigger letters for you. SAD 61 right now is 10,101,000. So the total budget amount for this year is 20,074,704. All right. Then the third section is, okay, what are we going to do to try to knock down the municipal mill rate? So we've got 419,707. Actually, I think if you go to the next slide, it'll blow it up. Yeah, try that. There you go. So once again, if you look to the right, it's blown up. So municipal revenue sharing is 419,707. Other town revenues, so this is things like auto excise, boat excise, things of that nature. That's 2.209 million. Capital reserves, we're proposing taking 664,000 from there. TIF, and this is just for projects and debt, is 773,814. And then the undesignated fund balance, another 552,000, for a total deduction of 4.619 million. And so at the very top it says municipal is 8.66. You subtract the 4.6, and what you're left with is the municipal budget would be 4,044,781. So how much do we have to raise from taxes? It's the county tax again, the revised municipal number, TIF, and then SAD 61. So the total to be raised is the 15,455,356. Go to the next slide. Okay, so for those of you that haven't seen this sheet before, the state form will tell you, based on what you're trying to raise, what the minimum and maximum you can do is, and what the associated mill rate is. So based on this form, the mill rate could be set anywhere from 1068 to 1121. 1068 is what is required to meet the, to match exactly what you're saying you need to raise. The state also allows for upwards of a 5% overlay. The purpose of the overlay is to cover errors in the assessment, things of that nature. So when the select board signs off on an abatement request, this is how you cover that. And so the overlay, if you picked a mill rate of 1075, which is what we've recommended, the overlay would be 106,554. And then if you look at sections 25 through 29 and then 30 through 36, that's just the math showing you that everything works. So the total amount being raised is the 20,074, and the total amount being collected, which is local property tax, the revenues that we were going to use to offset, the revenue sharing, and then the state will give us homestead reimbursement and BET reimbursement. When you add all that together, that's 20,181,000, and the delta between the two of them is the 106,553,68 for the overlay. So all the math works. Okay, so big takeaways here is, if you go back up, just go back up one. Can you do page up? If you can, don't worry about it. Yeah, it's capital reserves. We're saying I'm going to take 664. I want everybody to remember that. TIF is 773, and undesignated funds is 552. Okay, so we'll keep going. Go down one. Go down one. All right, so the last section that this is my creation is to figure out, okay, what is the mill rate as it's related to the school, to the municipality, and to Cumberland County. And at 1075, 698 of that is the school. $3.20 is the town. And then 57 cents is the county. Good. So what I did is, last year, the mill rate was $9.50. So if you look at the very top section there, I'm showing that the school was $6.56, the town was $2.39, and the county was 55 cents. But there was the calculation error. if you fix the calculation error last year, the school would have been 656, the town would have been 319, and the county would have been 55. And so if you compare that to this year, the town is literally only up 1 penny on the municipal mill rate. And obviously the school is up 42 cents, the county's up 2 cents. So, and we already talked about 80 cents is the calculation error, but when you factor it in, we're up 1 penny. Now, if you look at the pie chart, what I'm trying to show there is, obviously the whole of the circle is the 1075. The blue is the school, the orange is the town, the gray is the county, and that little tiny orange sliver, that is the rec center. And the rec center, I backed it out of the town, so it's not a double dip. Okay, any questions so far?
The school number that you're using, is that with any of the generators that were proposed after the
Nope,
fact?
none of
That's
that.
without any of that?
We don't have that yet, no. When, the number that he gave us is the number that's in here. If he adds to that, then that'll change it.
Well, he gave us the difference. He gave us the difference
Yeah.
in what the percentages would have been, but you gave us the flat without, if we had not added any of the generators.
Yeah,
Is that what you're saying?
yeah,
Okay.
How
yeah.
much is the mill rate gonna be different if the rec center doesn't go through?
It depends. I've got it in there at the most expensive option, and it's 24 cents, but if you do it the way that we originally proposed it, it's 15 cents.
That's
Okay.
before fundraising.
That's before fundraising, right? It's the whole 3.5 million.
Randy, the money on the property taxes, that's if they're all paid,
Correct. Yep.
right?
Yep.
So what about all the delinquent taxes that haven't been paid for the last 2 years? I know we were working on that for a while,
Yep,
trying to resolve that, and the personal property taxes that are
Yep.
still all delinquent.
yep,
And this is based on if those taxes are all paid this year.
correct.
And
Yep,
we get a
correct.
delinquent amount of money for past years.
Well,
that
no,
we paid.
it does not factor in any delinquent. So it assumes this is what we're gonna raise this year,
Right,
and then the assumption is you collect it all, which you usually don't.
right,
The liens get usually corrected because nobody wants to lose their house,
of course.
right? So the real estate ones over time, most of those do get corrected. Personal property, there's always a percentage of it that is uncollectible, right? So,
But is that percentage figured in
no,
at all, that they don't get paid into this number?
no, it is not. No. That shows up in whatever your undesignated fund balance is, right? Your fund balance will be lower than it could be if you collected everything. Any more questions?
Can you go back a few slides
Sure.
where you showed the 664 coming out of designated surplus?
Yep. One more thing. Yeah, 664. That's
So you-
capital reserves.
And then you're taking 552,000 out of undesignated surplus?
Correct. Yep.
And that's 500 for the rec center,
Most of that's rec center.
52,000 for a handful of other projects.
What does that leave in the undesignated?
That was my next question. What is the current designated surplus fund balance?
Estimated at the end of FY '24 is roughly 3.1 million. That doesn't include any undesignated surplus that we're gonna spend this year, estimated to be anywhere,
495.
yeah, 495,000.
Wait a minute, say this again. The undesignated surplus balance right now is 3.1 million.
As of the end of fiscal year '24.
Right.
So at the end of fiscal year '25, we don't anticipate a lot of money
Right.
spent out of surplus, but at the end of FY '26, we could spend up to 495,000 out of undesignated funds. This, because of the calculation errors.
Well, no, you just said it's 552.
No, I mean current fiscal year FY '26. what we're doing right now. So essentially.
Okay, so we could spend,
2.6.
how much?
Almost
So,
500.
at
500.
the end of this year, we're looking at around 2.1 million. At the end of the current fiscal year, we're looking at, is that what we decided, what we figured?
So
out?
it's gonna drop down to 2.1 million
No, I'm sorry.
At the end of,
At the end.
of this
No,
budget,
that
at the
was-
end of this
yeah,
budget.
Yeah,
Yeah,
correct,
that budget.
correct.
It's gonna
After
drop,
spending
it's
the
gonna drop
552.
500,000
this year.
this year, and it's gonna drop another 500,000.
In this budget, yes,
So it's gonna drop down to 2 million.
roughly.
Roughly.
Yeah.
The
Reserve.
designated surplus fund, what is that balance right now?
You mean, which one? You talking about reserves?
Yeah, reserves.
About 1.5 million.
So that's 1.5, and we're gonna spend 664,000 this year.
Correct.
So that's gonna drop that number down
So like
Half.
900,000.
900,000.
Well, we're gonna talk about the capital expenses here in a second, so we can get into the.
I didn't, okay, so I just wanted to.
Yep.
Yep.
No, but we knew that question was coming, so.
Because I think somewhere tonight, it's important that we project year 27 and 28.
Correct, I agree.
So we fully understand, we're not getting out of this hole, that hole may be getting bigger before it, yeah, okay. Yep.
Okay.
Are you all set with this slide here now?
Yep, thank you.
Slide.
All right.
This one.
So, what I wanted to do was to step through the budget, and I thought that we could use this as almost like the agenda for the discussions for the rest of the evening. So, Jim, what you were just talking about was Fund 5, the capital
Yep,
reserves.
Yep,
So, you guys have the budget in front of you, but what we're saying is we're gonna raise about 64,000 from taxes, and then we're gonna allocate another 664 from existing reserves. The budget itself, what we're asking for is actually down by almost $13,000, so we're asking for less than in the past, from a tax standpoint. Yeah, like if you look 25, 26 approved, we asked for 370, almost 377, and we're only asking for 64 this year. So that's less mill rate impact. And the idea here is a soft landing, ask for less, limited raise from taxes. And what I mean by raise there is literally the word raise and appropriate. And then, but we can continue to execute projects by using existing funds. So everything from paving to building repair and things of that nature. We would continue to move forward with those, but this year we would not raise money to refill those funds. And once again, that's to help because if we'd asked for money, the mill rate would have been higher. Fund 6 for capital improvements, we asked for 5,000 from taxes and then 547 from the undesignated fund balance. So that's that 552 we already talked about. Once again, that's less than was asked for last year. Once again, it's about trying to create as soft of a landing as possible. And really the big project there is the 500 grand for the rec center. Any questions on that so far? Anybody have any questions about capital or continuous improvement?
Mr. Chair?
Yeah.
Or Randy,
Oh, not me.
whoever.
Sorry.
I guess we're just having a conversation, right? We're not really, we're following Robert's rules here? Or just
Right.
a Workshop conversation.
Right.
What is our goal right now? Can somebody tell me what we're doing? Are we just going through the budget line by line and then we're gonna have a conversation? Or are we going through here and saying, hey, let's think about changing this to that? And what are we getting after right now?
That's what I would like to see. If we go through this and then we get to the end of it and it turns into a free-for-all, it's gonna get confusing to follow.
Correct.
So my recommendation is when we hit that area that we wanna talk about, let's talk about it.
So,
We've already,
hold on, from my point of view, Colin, next week, we have to vote on this budget. So for us, this was supposed to be our workshop with you guys. So for us, we need to be we absolutely have to go through this budget line by line and discuss what we think needs to be changed and what our opinions are that needs to be cut. And to throw out the ideas on what numbers need to be, and have a discussion about them, so that next week when we come in here, we're ready to make the votes. And then have you guys weigh in on what you think,
I-
also on that end, correct? Is that
No, I disagree. I think, Colin, to answer your question, the budget committee needs direction from the select board on where you think the mill rate should come out. The budget committee's gonna go through this line by line next week. I don't think you wanna go through this line by line tonight. If you want to, that's fine. But the budget committee has to make a recommendation to the select board on what they think the budget should be. The purpose of this workshop, in my opinion, is more of a global picture. Where do you think the mill rate should be this year? And can that be achieved? And more importantly, what I said earlier, where do you think the mill rate's gonna be in 27, 28, 28, 29? Because the way I look at this, in the next 3 years, we are not gonna put $1 back into the designated fund. If anything, we're gonna continue to take money out of the designated fund in order to try to balance this tax rate at a level that the citizens are gonna accept. I don't even believe they're gonna accept 1075. So already, right off the bat,
But Jim, we're voting next week,
I know.
so we can't go line by line next week and then vote.
Well, yeah, we're voting as we go line by line.
No, I know, but we can't go through line by line next week blind as our first time. We gotta go through it tonight and figure out what we wanna do, so we can go back and think about it. So when we go through line by line next week, we have our decisions and we can vote.
So when Randy talks about capital reserves and then says, does anybody have any questions? That's the time to talk about that section. And then he's gonna move on to the next section and he'll ask, is there any questions? And that's the time to talk about.
So you were
So
planning
I
on
got a
going
question.
through this entire budget line by line?
Not line by line, but section by
Section by
section.
section.
Section
So
by section.
why are we pulling $500,000 out of undesignated funds for this rec center? That when they've already, the town already voted on giving you to spend 3.5 million. Don't know where the bond's coming from, don't know what that interest rate's gonna be. Why are we pulling it out of undesignated funds when we're already in a hole?
Because that's what was voted on.
That was what was voted
That's
on.
what was voted.
That
was in the
3.5
warrant.
that they approved included the
Included the
$500,000.
This is not an above and beyond, this is that
That's the only thing
500,000.
That was secured in the vote.
It's already in there. So, I mean, I was gonna suggest starting skipping the capital, well, I guess not the capital reserves, but skipping the revenues and then the summary sheets and going into the actual sections first and then coming back around once we start talking about things that we might consider adjusting.
That's basically what I'm doing here.
Yeah,
Going
okay.
through it section by section. And part of it is the select board, and brings them up to speed too, right?
Right.
You guys have seen this a lot more than they have.
Right, and so then that way we have like the questions of like, well, what does the select board think? They were here to answer that.
Yeah.
That's what I thought was
Well,
happening
if
tonight.
if we're gonna do that, Randy just made a presentation. Select board needs to tell us if they agree that 10.75 is the number that they want to pass on to the voters. So let's hear at the very beginning if the select board is going to support and agree with 10.75. Because if they're going to agree with 10.75, next week's meeting is going to be simple. We don't have to cut a thing.
Right.
I'm not agreeing with that.
I agree.
Because
That's what I'm saying. I want to hear what,
10.75 is everything. all in.
right, I want to hear what the select board has to say about the 10.75, because right now, 10.75 means all in for the entire budget that's before you.
Yeah, but I don't have to agree with that.
No, I don't
We
agree
can-
with that
we can-
either.
We can present a budget that's
Right.
much lower than that, and if
Correct.
the select board
What's
doesn't want
much
to
lower
agree
though?
on
What's
it.
your number? Because
Well,
every
let's hear what
100,000 is
the-
8 cents.
I mean, I don't know, whatever I feel like needs to be cut lower, and then whatever that number is at the end of it,
Okay.
is the number that I think is appropriate.
So let's hear from the select board before we start this, what
But that's-
their appetite is for the mill rate. And then you're right, we're gonna
Yeah, because if they disagree, that's fine,
Yeah.
but we have every right to continue forward with the budget that we want to present, and we can bring it to the
Is it
voters on the day we
300,000
vote
is
and
it?
say that we disagree.
One
with
hundred.
something.
$100,000 seats. So, I'll go first. Ever since all of this started and finding the miscalculations for the past several years, I honestly thought that the increase was going to be a minimum of $1. So, I know that we're going to be around 1050, but all in budget, including everything that's being discussed, goes up to 1075, so would I like to be closer to the 1050? Yeah. Did I think we could do it over 3 years? I thought we could, but that's only gonna prolong building up the UFB even longer. You know what I mean? If we only go with 75 cents staggered, like I initially talked about, we're never gonna get that UFB back up to where it should be for a good 5 years. And I'm not sure we wanna wait that long, because every year that you don't increase it, you're gonna steal from it again. You're gonna keep robbing Peter to pay Paul, and that number will never get back up to where it should be. The only way we know that's going to fix it is going with the 1075. But would I rather be closer to 1050? Yeah. Would I rather be less than that? Of course I would. But I don't think it's possible. Not without building our finances back up where they should be.
Well, 1075 does not put $1 into the undesignated surplus fund. So we're not building up $1, so we just heard between this year and next year, we're gonna deplete the undesignated surplus fund by $1 million. So now you're only gonna have $2 million, at the end of this budget, you're only gonna have $2 million in the undesignated. So you're not gonna build it up $1. Next year, you're not gonna build it up $1 either, because the way I calculate this, you're gonna need 90 cents just to cover the normal increase for the school budget, for employee raises, and for insurance. So your 1075 is gonna go to 1175 next year before you pave one road, before you add one new thing to the budget. The following year, the same thing. So now you're at 1275. Again, you have not put $1 in the undesignated surplus fund, and you have not put any new items in the budget. That is just to handle the school budget, the county, the raises, and the insurance. Just so we're clear.
And it's not calculating inflation.
Right, that is just this year's budget, just going 2 more years out.
So it sounds like Jim has hit the nail on the head, like, it needs to be at least 1075. Like, nobody wants to hear this at all, none of us. I don't want, nobody does. But Jim just said it, we're gonna continue to be in the hole, we're not gonna be getting ahead at all.
I'm not, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying, this is what these numbers say. What Samantha is saying, partially what I agree, is we need to make some cuts out of this budget to get it down to something, because next year it's gonna go up another $1, and the following year it's gonna go up $1. I don't agree with 1075. I'm just painting the picture. Here's what really is gonna happen over the next 3 years.
Now, and let me say something, an additional and maybe a little differently. If, for an example, if we change the insurance for the employees to make it something like a 60-40 split, and so we are not paying such a large amount towards in the employee's insurance, and we get this mill rate cut down to, I'm throwing numbers out, I have no idea what the actual difference would be, but let's say it goes down to, 10.5.
It won't, 100,
I'm not saying that, I'm just throwing that out there.
I'm just saying,
However-
reasonable,
I'm just throwing numbers out.
yeah.
But if it's a difference, and then we then turn around and agree that maybe 10.75 would be reasonable, but we can put that difference back into an undesignated fund, so we can at least continue to rebuild. That may be something to be looking at. But to keep it at 10.75 where it is, with nothing going in to rebuild Naples, doesn't seem reasonable for the residents and the taxpayers of Naples. So we're gonna have to be making some hard cuts and changes here. And if it doesn't change the mill rate, but at least allows us, or
Put some
lowers
money
it a
away.
little bit, but allows us to put some money away to rebuild, then that's what we have to do. And if it's just for this year, then it's just for this year. And if that means that we need to cut other things, then that's just what it means. And that's, unfortunately, that may be insurances, or personnel, or outside communities. It's gonna be tough. This isn't gonna be the best year. But unfortunately, we had a miscalculation that's been going on for a long time.
So
And
we've
now we're
heard-
depleting our resources.
So we've heard from Kevin and we've heard from Ted.
Well, I
Let's hear
I
from-
was actually going to get to that same
Okay,
point
okay.
until you cut me off,
Yeah.
but that's okay.
Okay.
We're there now, you know, my point was going to be that we might end up at that 10.75, but to put money back into the UFB, like Sam was saying, is going to have to be some changes in the budget. The only way you're gonna get there. If there's no changes in the budget and 10.75, then you are correct.
Right.
There's nothing else going into the fund.
So I'd like,
Now I'm done.
I'd like to hear from the other select board members on where they feel this mill rate should be and what they think should happen.
My question would be, with the
Hold on a second,
1075
Kevin.
make up for the loss in revenue for the miscalculations of the formula and the increase that's being asked right now,
No?
we'll do that.
10.75
So even
is
to
gonna
keep
be
it
the way that
1075, we
it is.
need to cut this current budget.
If we want to put money into the
We
service.
need to cut it by 500 grand to even start making up.
Right.
Is that to start putting money away and be back where you want to be in, what, 3 years, you need to cut this budget by 500 grand, don't you?
No.
What'd you say, $100,000 is 8 cents?
8 cents.
So
8
that would be
cents.
40 cents.
So the 1075 is not even touching the miscalculation?
Nope.
It's
Well, when-
correcting, it's correcting. It's not.
Not cash.
So remember, there's two issues, right? We haven't calculated the mill rate correctly, right? This has got it calculated correctly. Then we depleted reserves. This has nothing in there to rebuild reserves.
Right.
So if you
Part,
kept,
that's a strategy though.
so if you kept the mill rate at 1075, and we cut this budget by 500 grand, how many years would it take you to get where we need to be?
The question would be, where do we need to be?
Yeah, where do you want it to be?
So, I don't have those types of calculations off the top of my head, but I will tell you, every single year, if we administer the budget correctly, we're always at or under budget, every year. We are building the unassigned fund balance every single year, it goes up.
Do you have an average number of what that is? How much gets turned back to UFB?
I don't have an average.
Unfortunately, it's gone down from what it used to be.
Correct.
Right, it
So the
used
last
to be,
two- Correct.
used to be, we'd put in 300, 350. Now it's down to 100, 170, you know what I mean? It's gone
No,
down.
I think it's more than that. I think
Yeah.
it's more than that. And it's just because this is an estimated budget and things change throughout the year. We try to administer it as closely as possible and do exactly what the taxpayers have asked us to do. But we almost are always under budget. And over time, we will slowly rebuild that unassigned fund balance.
But Tim
But
asked,
I can't give you a time frame of, how we're gonna make that up over the years. I mean,
So, I guess what I'm
3
asking.
years is a pipe dream, unless you,
But what do you want, $4 million sitting in a bank account as a rainy
That's
day
the
fund?
question.
That's what I want to know.
so what the policy or what the recommended policy is to have 90 days of your operating budget. That's it.
At your minimum.
That's your minimum.
So what's your 90-day operating budget?
As of now, with the increase in the budget the last few years, it's closer to about 3.5 to 4 million is what ideally, in a perfect world.
So that's what we should have in the bank, and we're gonna have half of that.
All in, we don't need to have that undesignated, right? As long as we've got the reserves there and it's in the account, you can draw on it until the next tax money comes in. It can be a combination
Right.
of undesignated and designated funds. And so what we're saying is ideally that would probably be around 3.5 million.
And we have 2 million in there, so we're.
We have
so we're
2,000,009 right now. If you add-
But we're getting ready to pull out 1 million, so we're gonna have 2.1 in there, so we're 1 million.
That's undesignated, and we still have designated.
Yeah, we still have 1.5 million in reserves. I know that's gonna go down to about 800,000 or whatever,
So we're 700 grand short.
yeah.
So if we cut this budget by 350 grand over for the next 2 years, and keep it at 10.75, it would technically put, where the town would feel comfortable again.
1075 this year.
Yeah, but,
1075.
no, but keep it at 10.75
Same
this
delta.
year, and cut this budget by 350 grand.
So,
So that money goes in the savings account.
out of that 350 that you're talking about, Tim, keep in mind that at the end of the fiscal year, what Pat's saying is it could be about $250,000 that didn't get spent, that's already going back in. So now are we talking about 100 grand, or are we talking 200 grand per year, to be comfortable?
Well, then next year would take back, could pull the mill rate back down next year from going up, because you could take it out of undesignated funds next year.
We did that before, and that's what got us into this predicament, we kept buying it then.
The norm for most towns in the state of Maine, going back to the undesignated fund balance at the end of the year, is between 250 and 350. That's the norm. Happens in every town. Money that doesn't get spent. So out of our, what was it, $8 million that we're proposing, 8.7, about 250 to 350 doesn't get spent. That goes back to the UFB.
And some of it gets carried forward.
Some of it does, yeah.
And we're just gonna have to be really smart about that. Every year when we are evaluating our leftover money, this has to be part of the conversation now. It wasn't really we weren't that concerned. We had a nice unassigned, undesignated fund balance. We had our cushion.
Maybe for next year or two, we don't do carry forwards.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if there's a project that we've hired someone,
Little
You know,
different, have to look at
those
it
types of
case by
things,
case.
which is technically speaking what you should be carrying forward anyway. But anyway,
At
yeah.
the end, your question is a good question. I like to have my facts straight before I answer it. All I would tell you is, I don't know how fast we have to rebuild it, because we're not going to zero, right? And to Ted's point, there's $100,000 in an overlay. That's supposed to be surplus before we underspend. So I do think $250,000 undesignated fund, dropping into undesignated fund at the end of the year is reasonable. And so if we can hold that pattern, which means control the spending, stay on budget, don't burn up the overlay, we could have $1 million in there, more than what we have now in 4 years.
We can save $4 a minute right now by turning the heat down. Holy smokes, it's
I will agree to that.
you have got me kidding.
Thank you.
So,
Wasn't old, that's why.
so we,
Ted, do you need another water?
Can I
Are you good?
I got one
I know
more.
I'm not really supposed to have a speaking part here, but I'm participating. That $1 million that I told you, that's worst case scenario. That's spending all $500,000 on the rec center. That doesn't include any fundraising, and that is assuming that we are going to spend this year's budget, the 26 budget, at budget, and us having to use that $495,000 out of unassigned funds.
Yeah.
That's absolute worst case scenario. I don't anticipate that we're gonna spend all that $495 on unassigned funds. And I don't know what the status of the rec center is, but, I'm hoping that there'll be some fundraising. And that won't be as expensive as what we have anticipated. That's worst case scenario.
so I still don't know where Steve stands, and I haven't heard from Colin, but I think the first question that has to be answered is everyone comfortable at the 1075, telling the taxpayers their rate's going up to 10.7? Because I'm not. I'd rather take 5, 6, 7 years to rebuild the surplus and work on bringing down that 1075 as reasonable as possible.
What's it
What
at,
was it last
9.3
year?
right now?
Well, it's no, it's not.
9.55.
So where did, Steve, where do you stand on the tax rate, and Colin, where do you stand?
I'll tell you, I only got this budget last night, so I've been trying to dive through it as much as I can today, which has been rough for me, trying to digest a lot of it now. I've been paying attention to the budget meetings you guys have had and going through the sections. I'm not happy with 1075. I don't think any resident in town is gonna be happy with 1075. I don't think anybody on this board is happy with 1075. That being said, I think there's some areas that we still need to pay attention to, and maybe we can move some stuff around in here. I'm anxious to see what you guys do and come up with. You guys have obviously had this a lot longer than we have. I wasn't sure what tonight was really gonna be about. I think Randy wants us to go line by line, but to be honest, I'm not really prepared to go line by line. And I think it's a good point to go line by line for my foxhole, because you guys haven't even touched it. You guys have been digesting this for 2 months.
Colin, I'm not proposing line by line, I'm section by section.
Well, even section by section, even if we look at like capital improvement projects, the money in here, the 552 that's coming from the unfunded, undesignated fund, I mean, so we're not only taking 500, we're taking 552 out of the undesignated fund balance.
Total.
Some of these things on here, I'm curious if we can move the Singer Center repairs, can we move that entire line to TIF? Because under economic and business development, I mean, we charge to use that building, we don't use that for anything else but to rent out, can't that fall under TIF? We can move that entire line under TIF and it's no longer on the tax burden. So I think there's some stuff in here, and I'm anxious to see what you guys want to do and what you guys have in mind. And I don't want to jump the line and start, throwing out ideas that you guys might already have, and you guys deserve first chop at, in my opinion. But no, I'm not happy with 1075. I think there are ways to cut it, and I'm anxious, like I said, to see what you guys have come up with.
So just keep in mind, Colin, that we're here to listen and discuss their opinions of what they think is their reductions or increases or whatever they're going to do. We're not voting until next week, but I think the only way to achieve that is to go through section by section and hear what the budget committee has to say, based on the information that they've already received from department heads or outside resources or whatever they are.
Well, we're also interested to hear what you have to say, because it makes no sense for us.
Oh, I'm sure you'll hear.
Okay, because if we go line by line next week and propose a budget, and then Colin just brought up an idea, which if that qualifies as TIF, that's a great idea. We should know that now, not 2 weeks from now when we vote on the final budget.
And my other question I guess I have, if I still got a mic, is some of these reserves, am I reading this correctly? And I think some of this changed from when I was on the board, but take capital improvement projects, community center planning, FY 24, 25, 30,000. That means it's 30,000 in that count right now, roughly?
Hold on.
Line 11-219.
No. You're looking at capital improvement projects, right?
I am.
Yeah.
6.
So no, capital improvement projects, there's no balance in that money is a regular department. It's not like a capital reserve where the money goes back into the reserve. Those are actually budgeted every year.
That's spent, and then whatever's left over gets put back in the balance, in the undesignated fund balance.
Unless we carry it. Yeah.
Unless we
unless it's
carry it
our-
forward, it goes back in unassigned funds, yes.
So these aren't carried forward to any of these, this is just previous years, just for informational purposes only?
Just showing what we budgeted in previous years.
No. I gotta ask this question,
Sure.
because I think I disagree. When you're talking about capital improvements, let's just take one line here. $500,000 for the recreation center project. If we don't spend $500,000, that money doesn't go to UFB, that stays in capital reserve.
This is capital improvements, it's not a reserve account.
That's what I meant, I'm sorry, capital improvements. That's the second section down on your second page is what's proposed for capital improvements this year. If that money doesn't get spent on that project, it stays in that
No.
account.
Only if we carry it forward.
Only if we carry it forward. This is not, Department 5 is capital reserve accounts. We don't have a reserve account for the rec center. We're raising money, it's a project that we're doing this year or next year or whenever it's gonna start. That is not a reserve account. This is money we are raising through taxation for this project. If we don't spend it, and the project isn't completed, and we need to spend more the following year, we will carry it forward. If it does not cost $500,000 and the project is done, that goes back into the unassigned fund balance. That is not a reserve account. This is money we're raising. Now, generally speaking, we're raising through taxation. Of course, in this particular year, everything that's highlighted in yellow, we're actually asking to pay out of unassigned funds. We're actually not asking to raise through taxation. But generally speaking, the projects in this account are things that we raise money for or appropriate every year, and whatever is not spent is either carried forward if the project isn't completed, or it goes back into unassigned funds. It's not a reserve account.
So, to that point, is there a list of carry forwards that are in these accounts? I can't remember what carry forward off the top of my head, I'm sorry.
You talking about,
What would be in these accounts that we carried forward from last year and previous year? Do we have those numbers?
Well,
I don't have
the ball field restrooms were carried over. That's been sitting there for a few years.
All right, can we back up? If you want to talk about capital reserves, we're not asking to raise any money. Do you want to do the project or don't you? Has no impact on the mill rate. The only thing capital reserves is going to have an impact on is how much money is sitting in the checking account that we can leverage.
Correct.
So that's why I want to go through section by section. If we focus on capital reserves, it's either do the project or don't do the project. No impact on the mill rate.
It's not an impact on the mill rate, but we are trying to build the fund back up, so if we're taking out of it at the same time, it's kind of like stealing from Peter to pay Paul.
Yep, that's exactly what I just said, yep.
Yeah, I don't think we want to do that, so if we can find ways to circumvent that and not pull out of the balance fund, I think we're better off.
Right.
Okay, there's not that many projects in here. We're talking, and remember, some of this stuff is deferred maintenance. We wait too long on some of this stuff, the costs are just gonna go up, right? So if you look at the projects, there's only a few in here. I'm having a hard time seeing tonight.
So we're looking at capital reserves right now. Is that what we're doing?
That's what I would say. Go through capital reserves. Is there a
Okay.
project you don't want to do? And then let's talk about it. We've got a legal reserve one in there. It's like, that's if we need it. We're not planning on spending it, but we're asking for permission to draw from it. But there's 28 grand there.
Randy, is this in addition to the money that's already been allocated through the sections?
We
Nope.
removed all the legal projections or allocations from all the departments and put it in here.
And put it in here?
Yeah.
Yep.
So,
So if you deplete it, you don't have any legal money.
Okay, so this, okay, so this
The
is all you have.
point is, normally we don't have to ask for this permission because we already have it on the warrant, right? It says the select board has the right to spend from these. All we're being is upfront. We're saying we want to allocate money from this for the purposes listed versus not telling you, and then at some point we ask the select board for permission to do it. So these are things that we want to do this year in the capital reserves. And there's $64,000 listed on the first section there. So if we don't,
Randy, what is the...
those are the ones that we're going to raise from taxes.
What is the estimated interest over the 5 years for the ambulance?
Okay,
What if we took
what page are you on?
What page are you on?
I'm on 5 capital reserves.
Okay, what line?
Second one down, 10-016.
Okay,
Well, no, but you're asking, the current balance is 249,000.
no, we're not asking. That was some notes that were in there, Colin. If you look at the proposed amount on that one, there's nothing proposed. Originally, we thought about using it from the reserves, and then we talked about financing the total amount. So right now, when we go to general debt, it's in there.
No, but that's my point, right? So we're not raising money for that line, for that reserve, but we're draining that reserve by 200 grand and adding 180,000 to a bond, which is gonna have interest, which is gonna increase the cost of that line.
Well, I can tell you right now, the budget committee, when we get to that line item, several people want to wait on that end. They don't want to even do the ambulance.
Well, I think that's what we're doing right now, aren't we? Are we going line by line and doing that? 'Cause
We are, but we're not, that, they moved that to debt service. They took it out of capital improvements and they put it on debt service. So when we get to debt service, that's when we're gonna talk about the ambulance. because they moved it out of here and want to finance it instead of.
Yeah, so my recommendation and thought process is, I don't want to finance it.
Right.
I don't want to finance anything, I want to be cash positive on things. I don't want to
Correct.
take money out that we gotta pay more money for. So it's only 180 grand, can we reduce some of these other capital reserves? Because the select board has the authority to reduce reserves, as long as it doesn't go in the negative, to move money around, that we don't have to take another debt for more money that we owe when we're trying to build our reserves and build the designated fund balance. It's only 180 grand.
I don't
love the
think,
Causeway bathroom facility, but 25 grand, we don't have a piece of land to put it on. Why are we gonna save for that? Let's put it towards.
I don't think you have the right to do that. I think
The voters
have that right. You have the right to draw from it for the purpose that it was intended.
Correct.
You don't have the right to move it.
But that could be on the warrant, right? We can ask them, hey.
Yeah, you could.
Yeah, we did that.
25 grand, and we wanna put that towards
Se-
180.
Several years ago, even before Ted got on the board, there was like 9 accounts that we had never spent money on. It went way back in history. We put a warrant together saying, did the voters authorize the following accounts to be moved to the undesignated surplus fund? And we listed them and we moved them into the general fund. So yes, that's how you do it.
So, I mean,
We did that.
I don't know what the cost is over 5 years, but at 5.5%, I'm guessing that's gonna cost us more money. If we're trying to save money, that's not cash positive, that's a negative.
And
I think the recommendation that we try to move that around somehow.
I misspoke on that too. We were talking about taking 200,000 out and then financing the rest of it.
Yeah, the estimated cost of the ambulance is roughly $380,000. We're gonna use 200 from reserves and finance the 180. And total cost, it's like 25 grand in interest.
So I'd recommend, I mean, I don't know, or if we're making recommendations, whatever we're doing, the thought process, we find 180 grand out of the rest of our reserves, out of all the accounts, we take 2% or 5%, whatever it is, and make it the 180 grand, and then we don't have to pay money for 5 years. Bank.
So we're calling, like Justin said, then he doesn't even want to talk about the ambulance this year because of where the budget is. Like, he doesn't even want to put it on as a line item this year.
He felt it could be tabled until next year.
Yeah. So like, I don't know why it's on here, but like, he
Well,
doesn't.
actually, I have a question.
Even if that's the case, even if we're
Where
gonna
in
take it
this
until next
budget
year,
does
we
it
still
show
gotta
we're
come up
spending the
with 300 grand, you're still 180
Right,
grand short.
right.
It does in general. In
Right,
general
exactly.
debt,
But-
finance
and I get what
charges,
you're
the rest
saying.
of it in there.
I do.
Right, but where does it show that we're spending the 200? Is there anything?
It's in the summary.
It's in the detail in the summary, right?
It's in the
Balance and put
summary,
that
no,
towards it?
it's
They
listed,
get
it's
it.
listed as a
We got
note
70 grand sitting
in
there.
the reserve, the worksheet in the reserve. It's listed as a note on the right-hand side.
Okay.
Recommend allocate 200,000 from
Yeah, 70
existing
grand
balance.
sitting there for a
The
vote.
total amount, on the front page of the summary, says appropriations from capital reserve fund is 664,000. And that is a total of 200,000 from the ambulance, 92,000, I think, from another, I don't remember what.
So how much is in the capital reserve fund right now? 600 and what, what'd you just say?
What we're asking to appropriate out of the fund this year is 664,000,
How much is in the capital reserve fund?
like 1.45, I think.
So you'd be
Just
under a
under
million.
just under 1.5 million. Estimated.
We-
Wait, what?
Wait,
I'm
can we,
following these numbers.
this is how this is not gonna work,
I'm
right?
following these numbers.
Let's,
The number on the top says 64,315. How do we go from that to 664?
That was
So-
my question.
So the 64,000 is what we want to raise through taxation. The 664,000 is what we want to allocate out of existing funds, so we don't have to raise taxes for it.
But what we have in front of us, Pat, is 557,000, not 654.
what page are you looking at?
On the second page, okay, capital reserves and capital improvements.
So capital improvements is not capital reserves, it's not
I
even the same
understand,
thing, yes.
but you just said 664,000, and our number is 557.
No,
No,
she said
664
64.
is the total amount of money that we want to spend out of the existing balance.
Here's,
couple more pages and then you'll get to it.
you have to look at the detail, this page here.
Hang on, Ted's on the
Yeah.
wrong page. Keep going, Ted. Keep going.
Same with Colin, yeah, exactly.
We're
Yeah.
all on the wrong.
So it's deceiving because you look at the summary page and it makes it look like we're only spending $64,000, but the reality is we're spending $664,000.
No, have you looked at this page? She's listing what we're raising for taxes on one line and what we're taking from the funds on another line. She broke it out
line
for you.
items
Which page?
in orange,
That
on the
one.
very top summary page. All the line items that are listed in orange are all allocations. We're requesting to allocate out of existing funds, whether it's unassigned funds, whether it's TIF, whether it's capital reserves. Those are allocations we're saying, this is what we want to spend without raising taxes. This is existing funds. So that's why we highlighted them in orange and we listed them separately. Everything else is what we want to raise through taxation. And those are the items that impact the mill rate. So that's the very top page of the budget summary. I understand that the capital reserve one, the 664, it's not broken down. It includes 200 for the ambulance. I don't remember, I have to look at those. Okay, but if we're pushing this off like Justin wanted to, then shouldn't that 200,000 come off?
Yeah, I was not told about pushing
Well,
anything off.
I
I'm
wouldn't
just going.
categorize Justin as saying that he wants to push it off. Justin answered a question, could we live another year without buying the ambulance? And he said we'd fix all the issues, and if we have to, we can go another year. That's what he said. He didn't withdraw the item from his budget.
Got it,
Exactly.
okay, got it, okay.
Can I interject? And can I please first answer Jim's question? And then I was hoping after that, that we could go, at least go through these pages to know where we all are, so I can number them, so I can follow a little better. So I look at this as from a resident's point of view. And so I look at a typical home. Let's say our average is 340,000. So I'm trying to look at this backwards to figure out what it's going to be like getting this tax bill. So if I have a $340,000 home and our mill rate is 1075, then I have a $425 increase in my taxes. So a thought for me is I would like to get that number under 400. So I would like to go down 10 cents. You asked what's the appetite. I would like to come up with a way to get to 1065 as opposed to 1075, and to go through this and to find out what we can cut, or what you guys can recommend cutting. So my hope is to at first just establish what we have here, because this is different looking than what I got in email. At least when I printed out my email.
You didn't have the summary page,
Okay,
Go to the second to last file.
but you
okay.
had everything else in there. You just
Okay,
didn't have that.
okay. It
You
just
didn't have
looks
the
different.
the summary booklet, which is the top
Okay.
11, 5 sheets.
Oh,
The top 5 or 6 sheets, because remember I said
Plus-
at the
Okay,
beginning, I said I did
okay, got
not
it,
include the
got
summary.
it.
Go back up.
so one,
Back up.
2,
So, right here.
3.
So if we delay the ambulance, we can pull 3 cents off the mill rate. And if we go back to the original plan on the rec center, we can pull another 9. So there's 12 cents right there.
What do you mean by the original plan?
The original plan was built around keeping it under 17 cents. What I was trying to do was pull the time period down. So we go from a 20-year loan to a 10-year loan. So if we go back to what we originally said, the mill rate for the rec center is 15 cents. And then the ambulance push is another 3.
So if you do a 20-year bond on the rec center,
Actually, that wasn't fair to say. It's a delta of 9 cents on the rec center, and then it's a delta of 3 cents on the ambulance.
oh,
It cost you $1 million to save 9 cents. That's what you're going with your question on that.
no, where I'm going, my question is, I believe the bond bank does not have a penalty to pay it off early. Is that
Yes, they
correct?
do.
You can't pay off.
You
can't
can't,
pay it off.
okay,
You do have.
all right.
Well, I guess you can pay off early. You owe all the interest.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah.
That's what I'm looking for.
Okay, so if we push the ambulances 3 cents for this year,
Yeah,
Correct.
okay. And so to move any of these within the capital reserve, we need to have a warrant asking the taxpayers to move what's already in the caps. Jim?
If you have capital reserve funds that you want to zero out, you have to have a vote, a warrant, and a vote by the people to move that money somewhere else.
Okay. The communication equipment that's on the capital reserves for $53,000. What are we holding that for? Does anybody know? And we do have LRTV at 37,000.
Pat, is that 53,000 an accurate number of what's actually in that account after the tower upgrades?
No, I don't think so.
I have no idea what tower upgrades here.
What page are you guys on?
I'm on the capital reserves,
Capital reserves,
just below
OCCA.
the marine safety boat replacement.
Course the way down.
In other words, there was quite a bit of work done on that tower this winter. And has that bill been paid?
This winter?
Yes,
Recently, yeah.
within the last
Yeah.
6 weeks.
So
No.
that bill's probably not paid.
No, because this is as of like the end of January.
Yeah, so that, you're gonna minus 20 grand off from that.
So now you're down to 30.
So that is an active account, is what you're saying?
Yeah, I was gonna
Okay.
say,
Okay,
you don't want to move money if it's an active account.
Right,
that's what I'm
and
asking.
that's the communication for fire, rescue.
Okay, got it. The Causeway bathroom facility, is that an active account?
No.
Okay, can
No, we
we,
didn't fund that last year.
should we make a recommendation to have a warrant to move the 25,000?
They asked that last year and it got
Turned down.
That was Kevin.
So,
Okay, that's great, that's last year, we're talking this year. Should we make a recommendation for the 25,000 to move for this year?
Yes.
Yes.
Can we, where?
We had a warrant last year to do that, and the voters voted it down at the town meeting.
That's
Right,
fine,
but-
that's last year, we
Right.
should try again this year.
Right, yeah.
Oh, where are you
If we're not
gonna
gonna
move it?
fund it
Not,
this year,
not funded.
if we're not gonna add more money.
Right, I agree.
Then it needs to go away.
Right.
Because you're not buying any piece of property on the causeway for 25 grand.
No, well, what if we put it into,
What is?
towards the ambulance if that's going to get pushed?
Tell you later.
All right.
Or the rec center,
Yeah.
or just back into the general, the undesignated funds?
I vote for that.
Undesignated,
my second item.
budget committee? I don't think we have to vote.
We're not
I'll make a
voting, we're
note.
not voting.
I'm just making a note.
So you guys,
Now-
so you guys are talking about taking that 25K and just putting it back in the.
I'd rather see it appropriated.
For what? Why don't you put it towards the ambulance?
Can we put it in your paving budget?
Take $150,000.
This one, go put it
What
towards
is
the
the
end.
personnel expense
Now,
of 100,000?
can we do the same thing with this marine safety boat? They have 2 boats.
10 dash personnel expense.
That's 66 grand sitting right
You thought
there.
it was good.
Yeah, this is exactly what I thought, Kevin. So, let's start with, what is the recommendation for the causeway?
Put the 25 grand towards next year's ambulance.
No, we're not talking about the
And
ambulance.
can we do the same thing with the marine safety boat that's got $66,000 sitting there?
No, what they're hoping to do with that is they want to get a pontoon boat, because the boat they have, basically, if you try, I would want to be strapped to it, right? Because you hang out over the edges, and if you ever fell off, you'd be dead, you'd drown. So what they want to do is have a pontoon boat, because they can get people on and off it better if they're in a rescue situation. So they want to have a combination marine safety, fire department boat. That's what that 66 grand is for.
Randy, I've been on that lake a bunch of times. That's about the dumbest thing I've heard.
Okay?
That boat,
Don't be rude.
Can I interrupt?
Oh, Kevin wants to chime in. Kevin?
No, seriously, if you get in a boating accident and they strap you to a board, how are they getting you off the lake?
how
How
fast
are they gonna get you
how
off the
fast
lake?
can a pontoon boat get there?
It doesn't, it's not
It-
about speed, it's
it's
about
not-
safety.
But you also gotta get there to save them.
Yeah? So
Well,
you,
the
so you get there
pontoon
fast and
goes
then the guy
fast.
drowns on the way.
Can we please pull this back together? Thank you. I do not want to be here all
Well,
day.
I tried to give you structure.
So,
Huh?
I have a question. On the,
Kevin had a question on Zoom.
Yeah, you did.
all right,
Kevin? Your turn.
Yeah, this is just a point that going into this issue, this problem that we have with our budget decision, is that now we finally are getting to the point where we know we have to start creating reserves, needing a reserve for someday we are gonna need another boat. Someday we're gonna need a restroom one of those trailers that can be hauled around, a porta potty, one of the decorative piece of porta potties that can be taken around event to event. Down in Naples, we now have a event committee, and so we have events, and now we don't have bathrooms, so, what's the next alternative is porta potties, and you move one of those trailers. So now we're stealing, we've worked all these years to even start creating reserves for a boat, for bathrooms, for parking, for all this stuff. Now, not only are we stealing from our reserve $500 million at a time, we're taking from our small reserve that finally we started. Our roads, we didn't appropriate, I don't see any money in the line for our paving. So what, we're gonna take more bonds, so we're gonna have more interest. So it's a terrible thing that our mill rate is going the way it is. If I'm not mistaken, then I hear that the municipal part of the budget is like a penny compared to the school budget. So we're gonna shave off all of our municipal progress because the school budget and all these other things that we're just going so much further back, trying to shave off. Now steal from reserves. It's just, we've got a problem and we just have to take the punch. It's not, none of us want it, but we can't go even further back. And that's where we're going. We start all over in 4 years. I'm done.
Ted? He said he's done, so it's up to you.
on the second sheet that was handed to us tonight, it says at the top, capital reserves. How do we know what the balance is in each one?
It's not on that page, actually. This is just a summary budget. This is just a summary.
Okay.
Keep that separate. These are the details. So this is revenues, here are capital reserves. Every single account.
Okay, so that money gets spent.
Okay. Current balance for all these different things. These are current balances as of January 31st.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, can I ask a
So-
question? Oh, go ahead, just keep going.
Well, I mean, at some point here, we gotta move on to the sections. I understand everybody has opinions about certain different things, but again, it's not a vote tonight, so we're just mind-boggling more than anything. But at some point, we gotta move on, because if we don't, we're gonna be here until midnight. That's unsustainable. So, question related to reserves still?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, to the whole thing. I'm confused now. I thought I had a picture as to what was in the designated fund, what was in undesignated, and what we were taking out. If I look at this summary page that you just gave us, we're taking out $664,000 from our capital reserves for the capital reserve projects. We are also taking out $552,000 from capital improvement projects,
Which is really undesignated.
which is undesignated. And we're taking out $494,000 from the TIF fund.
For regular TIF projects.
So what is the TIF fund balance? Because I didn't ask that balance. What is it today, roughly?
I can tell you what the anticipated amount is gonna be at the end of the year. It's
Okay.
like 670,000 or something like that.
After taking out the 400?
No. At the
Okay.
end of this budget season.
It's going to be 600?
Current budget season that
Okay,
we're
it's going to be
giving it.
600,000.
600,000, we're asking to shield another 485,000.
Yeah, call it 500.
So that'll bring it back up to 1.1 million.
Well, no, we're spending 494,000.
Yes, in 27. I'm
Yeah.
telling you, at the end of FY 26.
Yeah.
We're gonna have about 670,000 at the end of 26.
Okay,
Then we're going to finance an extra, shield an extra 485,
put in,
put in.
but we're gonna take out 494, so it's gonna be a
Well, it's more
lot.
than that. It's 494 for projects, 279 for debt.
Oh, okay.
So your 600 and something number is going to be reduced by 289.
Yeah.
Roughly, yep.
So now that
You'll be down
number,
to 400,000.
that number's
At the
gonna
end
go,
of- At the end of the next budget
this
cycle.
budget, right, the budget we're voting on.
Correct.
It's gonna go, now you're gonna go down to 400.
Yep.
So we're robbing Peter to pay Paul again.
Well, hold on, right, because then the following year, if we do nothing else, similar to what I tried to explain on the following year, that TIF fund's gonna go down to what? Gonna go down another 200,
Basically, it repeats again.
it repeats. So the TIF fund, within the next 2 years, is gonna be gone. So Colin, the reason I'm bringing this up, putting the Singer Center or other projects that may qualify for TIF isn't gonna help us, because that fund's no longer gonna exist in 2 years. We will have depleted the entire thing. Is that correct?
Well, we'll have like 380,000 at the end of this,
At the end of this budget,
yes.
Right, and then-
depending on what we put in the following year,
well, we already know our expenditures exceed what we put in.
yes.
So that 400 is gonna go down. So in the next 2 years, it's gonna be gone, because we spend 200 more
2 to
than we.
3,
And
yeah.
to
Right.
agree, and we can always increase the amount we put in the shield from TIF.
Okay, 'cause the reason I'm bringing this up is in 28, 29, if we do nothing, we're gonna have to take money out of the undesignated surplus fund to supplement the TIF fund that just went dry. Correct? Okay.
Next year and the year after, obviously the mill rate's gonna go up, right? It's gonna go up to keep pace with
Significantly.
costs, and you gotta start rebuilding your funds.
Right. Well,
This problem wasn't created overnight, it cannot be solved overnight.
that's my point, you're right.
The comprehensive plan update, I'm assuming there's not really 95,000 still sitting in that.
There isn't.
We haven't paid for it yet.
We haven't paid for it yet?
And
We
we're
haven't.
probably making partial payments.
I don't know why that one hasn't been updated, I'll have to look at it, but
But anyways, it's 95,000, it's gonna be all gone.
it's gone.
That's a budgeted number that's gonna.
Correct, that's a
Project's basically
contract
over.
number,
Contract.
yeah.
Right.
I lost track of where we are.
Now, we're still in capital reserves, the back page. The ACO vehicle reserve, can that be moved over to the ACO budget? Or towards the vehicle payments?
I'll validate the balance on that, but yes, that can be utilized for the payments on the ACO truck.
Where do you see that? What numbers? Yeah, but these are all expenses. It's less than that.
Not gonna say that.
Here comes a dangerous question.
Yep.
Steve. Dangerous question, I know. But what I'm seeing, and I know all about paving, believe me, and I get it. I know we have to keep paving, and we will. But the paving balance in the reserve is 743,000 and change.
Right.
If you're only going to spend 372,000 in this next budget,
That's what we're proposing, yeah.
why couldn't we move the other $370,000 to someplace else?
Because then that depletes us and then.
It does deplete us, but then you start budgeting each year for paving instead of,
But no offense, but we were supposed to have been doing that for the last few years. It seems to get cut. I understand where you're coming from. I'm gonna put it this way, the very few projects that I have left, and the uncertainty of what, asphalt pricing is. Today's numbers are, I'm gonna have to actually cut a project or two out to keep at my 370, so.
Or do you increase that number? And then there's only a balance of $185,000.
That would work better.
Well, I'm sure liquid asphalt's gone up with everything that's going on.
Right. My numbers were figured on what I paid last year, at $95 a ton. And I project by looking at things and talking with other public works departments, we're probably looking at 105 at the low end of what we're gonna pay.
Versus,
Is that late?
versus 90?
95.
95, that's what we paid this last
Gonna
year.
be more than that if this keeps up.
That's what I'm getting at, so.
What, I mean, when we're talking about finding money in these reserve accounts, I'm just wondering, you know,
Well, I mean,
what's a
if
real
if
number?
that's the plan that we wanna go at, then we say that we're gonna spend 500, and you take the other 275, or 240, whatever it is, put it wherever you want to put it.
But then you do know.
But I don't want,
But then,
Kevin
but
here.
then next year, there's no payment,
that, or we raise it.
or we raise it.
Right,
Thank you.
you raise it year to year.
Right, but we raise it, he's just saying it's 8 cents per 100,000. If I need 400 grand, I'm gonna be asking for 32 cents added to the mill rate next year.
Right. But if there was $200,000 that we could take now, that's 16 cents
Exactly.
that we could save now.
Yep, we could now.
But we're starting at zero again.
Right.
We need
That,
300.
correct, I understand that.
But I think,
I understand.
I mean,
I think pavement's a little more important than a boat, though, at the end of the day.
I agree,
But
but
we're not, right, but.
You gotta remember, the money sitting there actually helps us. It's what allows us to pay our bills on time. So leaving money in reserves is not a bad thing.
Right.
We need to have some cash in the account or we can't pay the bills.
especially, you're gonna get through this year without any problems in February, March, paying the bills. Next year, it's gonna be tight. You might have to hold off on the school payment a month in order to get through till the taxes come in April. The following year, 28, 29, at this pace, you will not have enough money in the checking account in February to pay the bills. That's a mathematical certainty.
Exactly.
This is not the only town that goes through that. There are towns that actually borrow money. It's called a tax anticipation note. They borrow money in January and they pay it back in April. And part of their budget is $10,000 in financing fees because that's how they have to get through their budget. But that is going to happen in 28, 29 at this pace because you're not going to have any money in your TIF fund to begin with. And that's in the checking account right now, which helps pays the bills, is that money, that surplus in the TIF fund, which is now disappearing.
Randy, you could offset that though, right? You could change tax collection to year to even.
That would definitely help with cash flow.
Do towns do that?
Yep. Yep.
I'm sorry, what'd you say? I missed what
You
you
could spread out the tax bill for the taxpayers, instead of them paying twice a year, you could spread out 3 or 4 times to lessen the burden so the peaks aren't so high because you collect cash on an even scale.
What towns do that?
There definitely are towns that do 4 times a year.
There are.
Ideally, it would be 12 times a year, right? That way your peaks and valleys are doing this versus doing this.
Right.
When you do once a year, it's really terrible.
Yeah, but I mean, majority of people pay through their mortgage.
Huh?
There's a big majority of people that pay through their mortgage.
So they
They're-
get the
they're paying-
12 times a year.
Yeah, so they're paying monthly anyway.
Yeah, so more is better, Colin, from a cash flow standpoint. Your troughs do not go as deep.
I think if.
Arlene brought up another point too. The other day we were talking, and she brought up a great idea. There are a lot of businesses or properties in Naples. They budget this amount. To them, they don't care when they pay it. It's budgeted, it's already, the money's already set aside. So you may be able to get some of these seasonal people that may pay their taxes ahead of time. If they know it's benefiting the town or helping them out, they may pay them ahead of time if you ask, because there's no skin off their teeth.
We don't have a cash flow problem.
Right now, we don't.
But he's saying if we continue on the path we are, we will.
You will.
And
Randy finally convinced me of that about a month ago. I didn't believe him, but he's right.
we've already seen it. In 2024, in March, we ran out of undesignated. And so that only gets worse over time, right? We had plenty of money because we had designated.
And Kit, right.
Yeah, but we need permission to do that, so there needs to be a warrant article to allow that.
So, is it a wise choice right now to move on from capital reserves and capital projects and stack them into the budget aspect of this thing?
I don't even
First
think.
one is section 10 under administration.
Okay,
Executive.
you're gonna skip 6 then? Okay, I was gonna recommend that.
What about funded projects and assessment can be skipped, but what about
Assessment can be skipped, there's not any change.
funded projects?
Tip funded projects, you guys have changes that you're gonna recommend to what's recommended? Well, if not,
There is-
I don't know.
There is a change to the TIF funded projects.
Yeah, the boat launch.
Kent's Land, right.
Not
There's
only
100
that,
grand.
We took 100 grand out of that.
Yeah.
we also,
Wait, so back up, I can't hear all the way down. So the 100 grand here, this proposed amount, you guys aren't recommending that anymore?
For Kent's Landing?
For the canceling boat launch survey and possible redesign?
Yeah, we were proposing to take that out.
Awesome. Okay, so that's fine.
should just make that whole place into a beach anyway.
Right. The budget committee
The way the boat
recommended
ramp
that.
fills back in, you're never gonna fix it, it's not in the right spot, Judge, and it's not gonna help it.
Right.
It's gonna fill right back in.
Right.
yep.
I thought you guys had a discussion, obviously we haven't at the board, but you guys talked about just making it a long launch. Just no heavy boats, just pontoons and
Yep.
lake.
Yeah, if you've got a big boat, you gotta go up to Harrison to launch it.
I can put my 35-foot in there.
Yeah.
So I bet you won't be able to this year.
Why do we update the info center with a 3% COLA?
What are we talking about now?
Sorry.
Wait a minute, I have a question. We're on the boat launch. So Pat, if this wasn't taken out of here, have we just saved some money on the,
On TIF?
yeah,
Yeah, I didn't remove that, I didn't
No,
know
your
that.
fund balance goes up,
right, okay.
but mill rate doesn't
Nothing to
change.
do with the mill rate.
No.
Correct.
Okay, yep, all right.
And that 3% COLA was for all employees, so the attendant, that was always in there.
So,
Well, but
So-
the number was different. It was 7801, now it's 7994.
So,
So the COLA was wrong on what we were paying
Probably,
originally?
I probably corrected it, yeah.
the events committee, how much money is that bringing in?
It's not.
So like Oktoberfest didn't bring any money in?
Oh, it did to all the businesses in the town.
Correct, it's a.
Break even.
Mostly self-funded. They raise money through fundraising and we put in a little bit, the town puts in some.
Wait, I'm sorry, why did that line item go from 8,000 to 23,200?
Ask Steve right over there.
what the heck, man?
I saw an email that said you recommended that go up.
Well, I will tell you that with these events, there is a cost that comes from other departments. Porta potties, traffic control, with police, all of that. And so these were numbers that we came up with.
Right.
Staffing, you have staff on.
Staffing on it, all these things that, normally come out of my budget that's not budgeted for more events.
So did these numbers come out of your budget? So did your budget come down?
No. I never budgeted for all these events. Last year, I didn't budget for events. Didn't know that we were gonna have.
It's not the maintenance department to go do traffic control for Oktoberfest.
Like for Oktoberfest, we have police. Father's Fest, we have police.
Right, so, but where did these numbers come from? Did they come out of somewhere else?
No, they did not. They are additions.
Okay.
If we want LED signs at each end of town, they cost us money. These are all things that have been robbed Peter to pay Paul to get last year. We're just making it transparent and accounting for it right here.
What are the LED lights?
Those like.
Construction
Yeah, the
signs.
construction signs that say, hey, you know, you got
Advertisements.
Rocktober.
Those advertisements.
The billboards.
Yeah, the billboards, okay.
Right, the billboards, LED billboards. Yes, we can go a different route. You can do banners. They're not lit at night. People don't pay attention to half the signs that are up anyways.
If we're talking about committees, how come the two lines above that, under 18-469 for band concerts, seasonal event support and bands and other activities, I'll go move to events committee, how come the top one for 6K didn't get moved to events committee?
So last year, I think it was even you, Colin, that recommended we fund, put extra money into band concerts and give like 8,000 to the events committee.
So band concerts, just to clarify, is what we have out here on.
Correct, the
Okay.
stuff that Dee organizes and,
Yep.
yes, everything on the Village Green.
Yep.
And last year, Jason had just added an extra 8,000 per the, I think it was the select board that recommended that, an extra 8,000 to support the events committee. I requested this year to keep them as separate accounts, create a separate account, just because it's easier to manage from an accounting standpoint. So I took the 8,000 out of band concert, kept the original 6,000 that's in there, added it to the events committee line originally on the budget when we first started this process. And then as of a couple days ago, when we talked about adding more money to the events committee, I added those two extra lines.
So Pat, we in our discussion over this, since we're on this topic, I probably had my man ears on, didn't listen. So, under your $3,000 for seasonal events, sports, porta potties and all that, you can decrease that by 2,000 and it's only $1,000 for the porta potties and cleaning services. The other two lines are correct.
And that 8,000 and 3,000, just for the record, those were both in the previous line.
Right, and that's.
So it was
what I-
actually 11,000 that was moved from the original band concerts to the new events. So the only thing we're really adding is the 12,200 from those bottom two lines.
So TIF funded projects is now 394, 432 instead of,
I get Christmas lights are pretty, but why are we spending $10,000 for a bank to have Christmas lights on the causeway in the wintertime? Because there's no activities down there.
quick answer is because that's what the people voted for.
Looks awful nice.
They wanted the causeway to look good.
Are they, is it still
I-
10,000 every year?
I
Are we
understand
actually
that, it looks good,
spending 10,000?
that's a lot of money
Roughly, yes.
for a bank.
Are they,
For what?
Well, no.
are we
What do you mean by
able to
that?
save
That's the only
any from
business.
the
I
prior
see.
year?
That's the only thing open down there is a bank.
Yeah.
And they don't even decorate.
So, if I hire somebody to come in and decorate the
It looks
causeway,
great. I mean,
which
it
includes putting up the
makes
snowflakes,
our town look like a
you
nice
need
town.
them furnishing the lights and putting them on the banisters. That's the total overall. If I go to purchase those actual commercial grade Christmas lights to do the, what did I say it was, 2,000 feet of railing that we have down there, you're looking at about $7,000 just for me to purchase the lights. LED lights are ridiculously priced. That doesn't include putting anything on any of the trees, anything like that. So, I mean.
So we're paying for someone to go out and put them out? I thought they were volunteer work and we're purchasing lights.
No.
So are they coming out and fixing them every single time they go out?
Yes, if it's beyond pushing a button, that says reset the GFI, yes, they are.
Sam,
Okay.
we own the snowflakes,
Yes.
but
Right.
what was on the rails this year was rented.
Yeah.
Okay.
They're not ours.
Okay. Like,
It was part of the package with them putting it up.
and that's 10,000 every year.
So, on the events.
Kevin said next.
All right.
What do you care? You're in your flip-flops, relaxed in your recliner.
Well,
Jim.
not the recliner.
All right, is there any other line item on this one that anyone wants to use?
The events committee,
Intersection improvement.
Events committee?
Yeah. It was said that it's a self-supportive committee. Have we seen a P and L for that, that we asked for quite a few meetings ago? Because I haven't.
I think that was just the answer, there's no money coming in.
I sent
So
an
then how is it
expense and
self-supportive?
I've sent
That $8 grand was for
them.
everything she did last year.
But it was just said earlier that it was a self-supportive committee.
No, they get $8 grand to
Mostly.
start her, and they can spend $100 grand if they want. They gotta find the 92, the delta. And she does that.
Would give them 15 grand for a fireworks show in October?
No, that came from a different account.
Steve, who asked for a P&L? Because I give a report every time Chelsea asks. I do this for her.
I don't recall who it was. It was at one of our meetings,
What meetings?
one of our budget meetings, when we talked about TIF funded projects.
I can provide one if you want one.
Well, okay,
If it's supposed to be rather self-supportive, then the price jumped substantially.
well, if they're $8,000 to start, and then they're supposed to be paying for everything else, then why isn't this $5,000 for the wages for support, and then the traffic control devices are not included in what they need to be paying for?
Naples was paying for that last year.
But
All
why?
they did
If
was
that's
move
what
it.
they-
She goes out and raises the money to bring the different vendors in and stuff like that. She actually raises money.
No, I know, but you just said that if they wanted to spend $100,000, they had to make the delta of the 92
Yep.
for what they want for their activities and everything. But why are these not included in their expenses for what they want to do?
It was us recognizing the fact that the town paid for that money last year. And so we put it under her instead of leaving it under someone else.
The
Steve is
5,000 is not a new expense. It
No,
was
I
in
was
another
just-
line item.
I was just absorbing it.
Right.
I was absorbing that $5,000 out of my maintenance line. So any of the overtime, that's why my overtime is overexpended, are part of the reason. It's not the reason.
Right.
So to be upfront and transparent, here is what it's costing. So that's why we put it in.
But why are we paying for it? Why are they not paying for it as an additional expense for them to be putting on these events?
Because it's gonna take them some time to build up a fund. I mean, they've been doing it 2 years. And then they're only raising enough to pay the vendors right now. And hopefully, eventually, there's some extra money that can help support some of this stuff, but evidently, there's nothing there yet.
So, I mean, we can't have our cake and eat it too. We can't go around bitching year after year that nothing's going on in Naples, and Naples is dead, except for the summer, and blah, 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 blah. And then finally, a group of people come together, and they bring all these events to Naples, and now the restaurants are doing business in their off-season when they're bitching that there's nobody there. I mean, this has helped the town, it's helped the community, and it's helped the businesses. For a very small fee, for a very small
I'm not saying
fee.
it doesn't,
Right.
but I'm going to say it right now, is that this is what we do. We say, okay, you can do this, but then you have to be self-sufficient, or you have to bring in 50% to cover your budget, and then year after year after year after year, it doesn't happen, and then we just keep bringing it back, and look at what happened to marine safety. And then we get halves. And then
I don't know
5
what
to
the-
6 to 8 years later, we're like, remember when we said you had to be self-sufficient? Remember when you said you had to have 50% of your budget paid for? So,
To that point, Sam, I think her budget is well over 23 grand. I don't know what it is, but the amount of stuff that she gets donated or whatever, if you put a number equate to that, I think it's probably pretty high up there.
I understand that, but I'm just saying that we've now gone from 8 to 23.2, and I'm just throwing it out there to keep an eye on it for next year.
But
And if we're not making any money and we're just trending up, I'm just saying to keep an eye.
So,
Just keep in mind, half of that 23.2, we've been paying that for 25 years. The bands on the causeway here, the bands on the Village Green, and
No,
the
that's separate.
porta potties.
That's
those-
separate.
What
That's
do I see over here?
Yeah, band concerts, that's up here, 6. That's been a separate line item for decades. porta potties have been
So
a
these are
separate
additional-
line item. These
these
are
are
all
additional
additional.
bans.
Right.
Yes.
Yes, we have,
And I'm not saying it's wrong, I'm just saying keep an eye on it, because if it's just a continuation of something going on and getting out of control, we just need to remember that this was supposed to be a self-sufficient
All right, next.
thing.
So,
I
the
don't
200
think
grand
we'll
for the
have time for
30211 intersection, isn't that a state road, state intersection? So
Yeah.
why are we putting 200 grand into
Because
it?
the town of Naples asked for the improvement.
When this goes off, that
Did
means
we
I
have,
gotta
did we
leave.
have to match it?
so,
You do, because you have to match it, but we also asked for that improvement.
right, so the $200,000 is to cover the cost of the mast poles in the green color
Yep.
there.
Otherwise, they're gonna put wood telephone poles.
Match the rest
Yeah,
of the
just
town.
like up in Brooklyn, there's just gonna be 2 telephone poles with a wire across them.
For the traffic lights?
Right, so the $200,000 was the upgrade, including the same type of poles that we have.
We signed a contract on that, what, a year and a half ago?
Yeah, it was 18, it might even be close to 24 months ago now.
Yeah.
When are they, and those are getting installed this summer?
This year.
The last email I got was it was actually going out to bid this spring, so when they start, it's DOT.
So this is a one-time cost,
One time cost,
at 200.
200 grand.
So next year, the TIF fund is not gonna go down,
That much.
that we thought, because that 200 isn't gonna be there.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
I do have
So
one,
it's gonna wash, it's gonna stay at 400 because we've been losing 200, 250
I
a
mean,
year.
it just depends on other TIF projects and everything
right.
else, and TIF debt isn't going anywhere anytime soon.
But this is what,
I do have one recommendation or a thought, you guys do whatever you want, I guess. But the 100 grand for boat launch survey for possible redesign, I know it came out. I would recommend, or I guess, throw out there, possibly leaving maybe half of that or some of it. We charge $15 to launch a boat through Kent's Landing, and then the person leaves at 4 o'clock and it's free for everybody else. Why do we have,
Well, that is wrong.
That's wrong.
That is wrong. They are there until 8 o'clock.
whatever time they're there till, I mean, whatever time they're there till, and then it becomes a free-for-all, you can go launch your boat for free.
well, yeah, but nobody launches boats after 8 o'clock at night.
I have.
So you're the one that's using it for free.
I'm sure there's other people out there as well.
I don't agree with Tim on a lot of stuff, but he's absolutely right. You can pay 100, you can pay 200, you can pay 500. Unless you move that boat launch somewhere else, there's nothing you can do to that boat launch. Nothing.
And that's not what I'm implying, I'm saying if we're gonna restrict it to pontoons and.
Right, you can build a concrete channel, that's it.
The only way to fix that. We should probably put a gate
And the
there.
DEP
so
won't
it's
allow
only
you to do
open
that.
when the attendants there, so we don't have boats, so we don't.
But when I wanna pull my boat out at 10 o'clock at night, I can't.
But
Okay.
we're also, we don't charge taxpayers.
Can
So
I
it
ask,
opens up
can
a
I ask
whole
a
big can
question?
of worms.
I think you should raise the fee for a boat launch myself.
Well, we need to rein that in.
Yeah, that needs
to
to go
who
to
is charged.
select board, but, so I guess my question with that is where, are we asking for that 100,000?
No, it's come out of the budget.
Well, it was, but
It's coming out.
we haven't voted.
We already voted to take it out of the budget.
No, that was dredging. That had nothing to do with this.
This is separate. Didn't we just have that survey done?
That's to move it.
Right, because when you go down to the line 823 or 838, whatever it is, it says Kent's Landing survey of 50,000. That's already been done. So I guess I'm lost as what this
So,
$100,000.
I think the 100,000 is the dredging. So the name of it is.
It says right there, dredging of Kent's Landing.
Yeah, the name of it is jacked up, I don't know.
Yeah,
I didn't name these accounts.
I'll put my glasses back on.
Yeah, put them on. It says it right there.
In the description underneath, the 100K is for the dredging, it's not for
All right,
the.
so that's already gone. All right,
It's there
thank you.
because
So,
Steve said it should.
the second part of my thought was, out of that 100 grand, if we keep half of it, I don't know what the cost is. The $1.5 million plan that they came up with, no one wants to do, obviously, I don't either, but on here, they've got a parking lot for an additional 50 cars.
But you're not getting it for 50 grand either.
Well, and that's what I think, I don't know what it is, but
Yes, I can take that 50,000 and put gravel.
start the process with drainage, and then maybe we pave it next year or something, but I don't know what that costs, I'm not in that business, but
What are we
I think
talking
that's
about?
worthwhile thinking about, because everybody bitches about parking. There's an additional 50 spots right there.
Well, I will tell you that you're not getting 50 grand. I don't really,
Oh, what they
doesn't
spent
make,
last year.
listen, I can draw things all day long. You're not getting 50.
Yeah, if it's not in the list.
So are you telling me I paid this guy
Yeah.
50 grand, and this and it's wrong?
How many of those have we paid?
You might put like 8 Priuses there.
All right.
There's plenty of
Moving on.
parking within less than a
Could've been
eighth of a mile.
So,
Randy,
does anyone have any, oh, yeah, you got it.
just a question, did we get a hold of Wardens? Is that a go?
Not yet, no,
Okay.
Have we got a hold of them?
not yet.
Have we tried?
No,
Awesome. All right. Does
fixing
anyone
this
have any
mess has
questions
been a
on
full-time
assessing?
job.
Let's move on to administration.
No one has assessing, right? Perfect. Admin?
What's the budget committee's discussion?
Our discussions on admin has been we had numbers run on one less admin in this department. We've also had numbers run on,
We had numbers run on a part-time, someone going from full-time to part-time. In
no,
admin.
we asked for one less. You ran on a part-time?
On admin, the recommendation was,
It's not clear.
Oh, I'm sorry, I'm thinking of
This-
clerks.
yeah,
I'm sorry, my apologies, clerks. So we did not ask for, so this is part-time. And then we also asked for insurance, which ran across the board, correct? The 60/40 split. But that's it for
Yeah. Do we know the answer to this question? What is the total insurance increase for the town of Naples?
28,000.
Is that what it is?
the total, it's 18%, roughly 18%.
I'm talking about the total town, fire, everybody. Yeah.
So our current budget for FY '26, what we are in right now for everybody, that's estimating 100% usage of the health reimbursement account, which is not what we use, but the total budget for everybody is about $445,000. With the projection, a projected 18% increase. But for the purpose of budgeting, we reduced the anticipated usage rate of the HRA to 80%. The total cost of the town would be roughly 74,000, 473,874. So it's going up
30,000.
$28,000, 28,500.
Hang on, that,
And you're comfortable that that 80% is achievable?
I mean, I can't predict,
No, I'm just,
I think the average rate with the direct filing fee system, the quote I was given by the broker, the average, national average is like 59%.
now,
I thought 80% was a safe bet, but again,
have we asked Harvard, is it Harvard Pilgrim?
well, we're with Anthem now.
And have we asked them why they're going up the rate they are when you look at all the other towns? Seem to be a lot less than that.
So what we did last year, when we updated we went from Harvard Pilgrim to Anthem. And when we did that in the middle of the year. So we started, actually it was as of August 1st, we moved to Anthem. We got cheaper rates, and we signed basically 11-month contract. So insurance rates, they go up every quarter. And so essentially, people that are updating their insurance right now, they're getting, 8% increase, 10% increase, that's as of January 1st. There's gonna be another increase on April 1st, and there's gonna be another increase on July 1st, which is the increase we're gonna get. So we're locked in on our current rate until July 1st. So that's why our broker told us to anticipate about 18% increase from what we are right now, because we have that rate all the way until next July.
Okay, thank you.
So, Pat, you say the total right now for all employees is 445,000 in the ballpark.
That's what was budgeted.
That's
for
what was
this year.
budgeted, we probably won't spend that, but yes.
Okay, so 18% 100% of that is pretty close to $80,000.
Yeah, and the reason is because the original budget for this year was anticipating 100% usage of the HRA. In next year's budget, we reduced that to 80%.
Yeah. Okay.
Which, by the way, I don't think is a good long-term solution, but we were looking for any possible
Any
way
possible way to save,
to
sure, I get it.
save some money.
Okay. All right.
Realistically, the best way to do that is to budget 100% and put it in a reserve account. And then the next year, you only raise what you use. You get to that 100%
Correct.
usage, and then and you build that account up, and then the next year, you only raise what you use. We only use, I think the HRA,
You replenish the account every year back to the 100%.
we want to do the same thing with legal fees.
Yep.
Just the best way to save money for the town, but we're not there yet.
So should we start a reserve so that when we have rollover, we can put it into that reserve?
Yeah. It's actually called, it's not really technically a reserve account, but yeah, it's a special revenue account. We have to get permission from the voters to create these revolving accounts so that they roll over like reserves, like TIF. But yes.
So we should at this town meeting put an article in to
I
start
personally would
that.
love to do that. If you guys are willing to let me make a few more.
I mean, we can put it in at a zero, so it gives us someplace to put the money.
Yeah, at the end of the year. Well, I can split it. I can say 80% of the HRA. I don't know if I have it broken down. I don't have it broken down separately, but
But we take that 80% out of insurance and put it in a reserve.
put it in a reserve
And then it can
account.
continue to roll.
We
It doesn't
can
get used.
pay out of that reserve account this year. You know what I mean? We can put it all in there, and then whatever's left, we keep it in there the next year. We only have to raise based off of premiums and whatever we spend out of the HRA.
To take the sticker shock away.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the other thing it does over time is it skinnies up what you have for reserves, right? Normally, if you take all the excess and you roll it into undesignated, your undesignated grows. What we're talking about is only replenishing what you use. Guess what? There's no more building of the undesignated funds. So
Correct.
there's pros and cons.
Right.
But I don't, I agree 100%. I don't want to do that with a bunch of accounts. Just these really
High dollar.
the high dollar ones, legal, medical.
Right.
I think most towns do that, and most towns budget at 100% use of their HRA.
Which we could next year,
Yeah, we could next year.
because we're not used at all.
Right.
Anything else on the admin section? Move on. What's in committees is next. Keep in mind what we've already talked about tonight. We've done a reduction of $300,000, is that correct?
No, because the 100 that we took out of,
Isn't gonna change the
Is
mill
it
rate.
TIF?
doesn't change the mill rate at all. The 100 we took out of the,
It's,
Out of the what?
That's it.
out of the tip, doesn't change the mill rate at
We
all.
took it, that was for the beach?
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
But
That was for the
but
dredging.
200 that we're talking about of not purchasing the rescue this year is
correct.
is in the budget, okay.
No. 200 is out of the reserves.
Reserves.
So
No,
this-
no, because you said you
It
had
took-
a finance part.
The 41,000
Well, the
this year.
Yeah.
The 41,000, which is 3 cents.
So the
Yeah.
The difference
the
of
difference.
funding it only comes to 3 cents.
Come
Correct.
close to 200,000 when you add back in the original plan for the rec center. That's 129 all by itself, almost 130.
So on the boards and committees, when we went through this the first time, I had made a comment that Bridgeton only pays their select board about 1,300 each, or for 35 and 3. So I'll have to make a recommendation to bring that down to 1,300 each. But that was the only comment that we had on this. Did anyone else have any other comments? Code enforcement?
They've already taken out the second code enforcement officer in this budget, and
Yes.
so they removed.
I see a difference of $1,000 between what we had and what I'm looking at.
But it's a $75,000 reduction over last year.
Oh, over last year?
Yep.
Got it, okay. I think we have a question on the cell phone and internet reimbursement. Did you get that figured out?
So it's in the current policy, personnel policy, so if that's gonna change, it has to be changed in the personnel policy, which we plan on updating before July 1st. We recently renegotiated a contract with Verizon, so the town provided phones are cheaper now, we're saving on like $10 per device a month. As far as the reimbursements, what we're recommending in the updated policy, we just talked about this week, this was in my email. Instead of $50 for the phone line and $25 for the internet, for those employees that receive the stipend, we're going to $40 total for department heads, and then $25 total for the principal assistants, like people that qualify for stipend based on the policy.
Randy, what's the benefit of having both? Some with stipend and then the town actually owning lines?
Yeah, when we revise it, it won't be like that. You'll get one or the other, right? There was nobody.
Well, that's what he's asking.
No, that's what I mean,
Why
like,
do some
why do we have
people-
like 4 lines that are Verizon and not just give those people stipends? Is there,
We're going to do that with some people. So some people will have the town phone. Town phone's a really good deal. It's about $40. And then the people who want to use their own phone, we'll give them that.
got it.
They'll get the $40. And then what we're gonna have is what we call light users, and they'll get the 25, right? So, like Katrina, I'll call her at home and she'll turn, doors on and off and do stuff for me, so. But there'll be a net reduction, there'll be less people getting this stipend.
Some people don't want to be issued a town phone because your phone, if you're using it for work, is subject to FOA. Or they don't want to use their personal phone, I mean, they would prefer a town phone, others don't care.
I have a town phone, because when the next town manager comes, I'll just hand them the phone. Well, we already do it with the email, so I can see back 10, 15 years worth of email, right? Same thing with the phone, any text messages or anything like that, they have everything. So that's why I have one.
Okay, and then okay. And we took $900 out of the computer
When the
services.
next town manager comes in,
Yeah.
Randy's gonna
Okay.
hand him that binder over there,
It's
and
less.
he's gonna say,
Yeah.
and you're
I think
welcome.
the total, what did I say in the email? The
'Cause I straightened out this
total cost to the
mess.
town for these reimbursements is like $4,200.
Yeah, okay. But I think that's what the question was because it was in the 2 places for the internet, so it looks like we took out one and just adjusted the other.
Yeah, and we reduced it. Like, some people were getting $75, now they're only gonna get 40.
Okay. All right, anything else on code? Clerk and tax collector. This is where we talked about having one less clerk. Are these,
This does not reflect one
No.
less clerk, right? And you gave us a worksheet on if we have one less clerk, what that's gonna save. Refresh my memory again, how much do we save between insurance and 90, I think, how much was it?
well, the numbers were wrong. So
Right, but
is
then
this-
she redid
Is this
them.
correct numbers?
These are corrected numbers, but they are the numbers minus clerk.
I don't need those tonight. If we have them for our budget
Yeah, I
meeting
had
next
asked
week.
if I should provide those, and I was told, we didn't need to, so I wasn't prepared for that.
So Ted, that was the conversation. Clerk's office used to have 3, now they have 4. they've gone to a 4-day work week. Apparently, the other night, the select board decided that they were gonna stay on a 4-day work week, so, I'm in Samantha's camp now.
We extended Thursday night,
Yeah, 2 hours.
and we have 5
I used,
Saturdays.
Yeah, 5
which we
hours.
always have, the Saturdays.
We had 6. We
Right.
never-
The difference,
On Thursday, when you extended the hours, are they coming in late on
You want me to
Thursday?
go grab it,
No, I
Sam?
don't
Yes,
know how
if you
they're
could,
gonna, I
that's a
don't know
great
how
thing.
they're gonna manage that.
So it's gonna be the regular
Same
hours?
start time every day, even on weekends.
Okay. Right, but the weekends, from what I understand, they're closing at 10:30.
Right. It's gonna be the same 3 hours, but they're gonna start at the same time.
That's what one removed.
So the number with it removed will be 332,298.
So what's the savings?
The savings,
About 90 grand.
Well, you gotta add the insurance, you gotta add the,
that, I think that she did all those calculations.
yeah.
85,225 would be the difference.
Okay.
But the,
And that's without touching any of the insurance coverage, without changing any of the insurance coverage. It's just removing one person.
When you say not, doesn't count the insurance, what do you mean?
I mean, as in like not making any recommendations to change like 60/40 or anything.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Insurance.
This is
It's just removing one person.
So that's another 6 cents if we were to do that too.
so that changes.
That one item.
That goes up to 9
90,000 equivalents to how much savings?
100,000 equivalates to 8 cents.
Oh, yeah. That is-
So she said that's 85,
85,000.
so that'd be 6.5 cents right there on that item.
Just so my understanding, the reason to remove one person is just to make the savings, is that what we're doing?
No, I mean, my recommendation on removing the person or removing a personnel was because we are at 4 days, a 4-day work week. There's been a lot of complaints about not being able to get to the town hall when they are open. And since the vote went from, it was originally proposed as a 5-day work week, it went through as a 4 days with an extended 3 hours on a Thursday, or 2 hours on a Thursday, I'm not sure what it was.
And I'm just asking, 5-day work week, where did that come from?
Monday through Friday.
I'm saying, where did that come from? You're saying it was proposed.
Arlene?
Arlene
Oh,
votes out of
okay,
the select.
okay, no, it's just, I'm asking.
Totally. Yep. And then it was 5 additional Saturdays, which used to be 2 Saturdays a month.
Way
I
back
believe,
when,
Way
way
back
back
when,
when.
and then they were taken out completely. So the fact that I personally believe that the taxpayers are not getting what they need to out of the town office being available, is what the complaint seems to be, what I'm hearing quite a bit, so.
Way back when, it used to be a 4-day work week too, but.
Right, I guess that's where
When
I'm.
Way back. Huh?
When was
Back
that?
when it was in that brick building.
Oh, well,
And Jenny
you
Larson.
you weren't even born then.
Correct. I have plenty of books to prove. Oh, yeah.
Right,
I was.
right.
Town was only about 900 people.
Yeah.
Randy, do you know why the seminars and training went up?
New clerk,
1,500?
new clerk, she needs to go to some training, so I think that was part of it.
Okay.
I have to run, but I have 2 quick questions before I leave, if it's okay, with the chairs. The fire department, Randy, the new person that he proposed, is it in this budget or not in this?
It is in that budget.
Yeah, so there is a new person proposed in the fire department.
So that's the Saturday, he wants to add the Saturday.
Right.
If you take that out, that's 60 grand.
I think it's more than that when you add.
There's no insurance because of per diem. It's straight time.
Okay, yep. So that was my first question. So that is in the budget. And then, I want the marine safety, what Tim brought up, the clarification on the boat. I understand, so the money that is set aside, we're not gonna have two boats, right?
No,
Okay.
no.
So,
We've already got two.
I know, but,
When the time comes to replace one of them, that the plan was to put together a pontoon boat that they would share with the fire department.
the fire department is still gonna have their fire boat.
Yep, they'll
Or
have
a
a fire
fire,
boat.
right,
Correct,
but they're gonna share this with the fire department.
Yep, yep.
And then if the other boat breaks,
EMS, yeah.
and if the other boat, the second backup boat breaks, we're not replacing that, we're
I
going
think
to.
they're talking about pulling it out of service.
Right, so we're gonna go,
Trading it in.
right now, we have two boats.
Yeah.
We're gonna go to one boat someday,
Take the two boats, you trade those in, the difference you pay out of the reserve account.
okay, and you're gonna have one boat.
Yeah, one boat.
And I, just so you know, the reason for the pontoon boat, first of all, the pontoon boat can go as fast as those two marine boats that we have. Those marine boats don't go fast. The fire boat goes fast, but the two marine boats don't go fast. Secondly, you cannot put a stretcher, you can't even put a stretcher on the fire boat, right? From what I understand?
Not really, you can work.
You'd have to straddle the pond, yeah, I mean, it would be an unsafe situation.
It'd be a lot of work.
Right.
Yeah.
But you can't put a stretcher on the current marine safety boat.
Right, well, you wouldn't, you put them on a backboard, you don't
Right.
put them on a stretcher, but yes.
Yeah. So we're not, I don't want you to think of it as a new second boat, because I'm against that. What it is it's in reserve, so at some point in time, when they can trade in those two boats, because we finally need a boat, then we're gonna get the right boat, which is a pontoon boat, for a patient to be on there.
Do like this, Jim. They got a pontoon boat, the association got one donated.
They have one?
Well, nobody knows where it is, association apparently dissolved or something. Yes.
Where's the pontoon boat? Great.
I'll be interested to Maine.
Donated to the fire department?
No, it was donated to the Marine Safety Association.
There's a Marine Safety Association?
Apparently not a Naples thing, though.
No. It's in the ordinance though, which is weird. If you read the marine safety ordinance, it talks about the association and any donations or gifts they get are town property. So I don't know how that works.
Well, they just gave the money away last weekend, or last week, I think. So,
Yep.
But they got a boat. Where'd the boat go?
Harbor Master training.
At Castile?
Wait, boats? I didn't get a
Well,
boat.
it's in Orno. It's in Orno this year.
yeah, they moved it.
They gave the Naples money away?
They gave away the association
The
money.
association with money. That is right. They went, here you go, we're donating it to you.
How much was it?
$3,500, I think.
Oh.
Not 35,000, 3,500.
Yeah. Especially when you're the treasurer of the association.
All right, any other questions on the? So did you double check to make sure you didn't pull that?
Well, apparently my wife doesn't want the insurance money because she wants me to come home and take my medication.
Is it refrigerated?
Corrected that before the last
Yeah,
two
well,
meetings.
plus it,
Does anybody else want a
It's a
copy
process.
of the updated clerk's
Yeah.
budget?
Different than what we have?
This would
It's
be
with
without
one
one.
less clerk.
Yeah, I'll take one.
I want that.
Thank you.
Oh, I agree.
Good night, Jim.
Everything highlighted in orange on the left is what was
See
reduced.
ya, thank you.
Yeah, you might want to sneak one in that.
Also, under admin, sorry, we have a lot less insurance. It just hasn't taken effect yet, but it's gonna.
Yeah, yeah. You go take it properly.
By about 20 grand.
Yeah, that's not one side.
But I don't want,
Average it out,
I
you're
don't
about
want to talk about it in public,
Yeah.
because I'm talking personnel.
Could you imagine?
Tim, I agree with you twice tonight, that's it, that's my quote.
Oh, good thing you're leaving. Good thing you're leaving.
Do we need to go over, any other questions in clerk? Or comments in clerk? Hearing none. Sorry, I took over your minute. Do you want to
No,
do
you
that?
didn't, no, you didn't. We're on tip, that's next. That's fine. Because the questions that are, the suggestions that are proposed tonight is coming from the budget committee. Select board is making their suggestions tonight.
No, I know, but you started and I kind of took it over, so I'm just checking.
Just moving along.
TIP debt service, does anyone have anything on that? Nothing we can really change on that. Town maintenance. Anyone have any other comments or questions or suggestions to change here?
Going up about 45,000.
I think we knocked out a Steve.
Your cemetery contract's up when?
Sure. I'll give you my paper tomorrow.
Oh, actually, that's a good point about cemeteries. I meant to bring this up earlier. The chaplain fund, that's very specific on what the verbiage is and what that account can be used for. Brady, I don't know if you know what that is, if you read into that or not, but it's specifically for deceased and like buying gravestones and whatnot. Is there verbiage in there that would allow us to cover our cemeteries and the upkeep of that? Because we're never gonna keep up burning the interest that account has generated. We're never gonna be able to spend it, it's just gonna continue to grow and become this gargantuan account.
I think we
because we
looked
can't
into
spend
that,
interest.
Colin, when John Hawley was here then. That was not an acceptable use. The
It's
verbiage.
for the worthy poor, it's not, has nothing to do, in my understanding, it has nothing to do with cemeteries.
We used it once to buy we authorized the person to stone, a headstone.
Right.
But I think it's for someone, yeah.
His family couldn't afford it, so that was given to the poor.
Well, we've done 2 funerals, I think, already this year.
That would,
So maybe we're not maximizing that. We should probably look into that more.
And I'm also curious, I mean, if there's, I'm guessing there's still people that are living in that dynasty, that family. Maybe reach out to them and say, hey, we're never gonna be able to spend this. Do you wanna rewrite I forget what it is, the trust, to say, hey, you guys can spend it on cemeteries or some other aspect? Because I don't think we're ever gonna keep up with the interest. It's just gonna grow to, sky high.
What are we looking at as a balance in it now?
Something where it was 300, I think, if I recall.
Well, we're only allowed to,
50 grand, at 50 grand a year, you're gonna burn through it pretty quick.
Oh, yeah, we're not spending 50.
Put it towards general
it's in a trust fund, a separate account.
Oh, no, I'm saying, you're saying withdraw.
This says
Yeah, no, I agree,
physical
but even if you offset it by
That's
10,
what
the interest is growing.
we only can spend
It's
a
46
certain
now.
percentage of interest earned, we can't
Yeah.
spend out of the balance.
Right. So you're only spending like, I don't know what it was, 30% or 40% of the interest earned, it's always just gonna continue to become this thing that you should spend.
I can tell you it is incredibly underutilized.
Yeah.
It's forgotten about, like we forget about it a lot. And we also have another fund, fuel assistance fund that we accept donations for. We utilize that, the local town of Naples one, that's all donation money, it's not tax money. But we often forget about that trust fund and
Could we use that trust fund to offset the general assistance? Would that be acceptable?
we can, but it just has to go through procedures. And essentially, the select board serve as the trustees, so they're the ones who have to approve the expense or whatever, but yeah, that's what it's for, those types of scenarios. But we have,
Sounds a bit
we
monotonous.
have general assistance that we run through the county. And then we have our local fuel assistance donation fund that we utilize. Essentially what happens if people don't qualify for GA, they come to us. Our GA representative will send them over to us, and then town manager evaluates, and then we support them, that way. And then we also have the trust fund for the working poor, and we don't use that very often. I think the last time we used it was 2 years ago. We spent like $10,000, and that was it.
I think we spent almost 2 years just trying to get back into it. Remember?
Oh my
Jason-
gosh.
Jason couldn't get into it last year.
It was a nightmare.
That chaplain, right?
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
a
we couldn't
nightmare.
get into it, yeah.
Harry and I finally made contact with someone that could actually give us some answers. This is probably 6-7 months ago. So we have a point of contact, and And we have an avenue to utilize the funds now, so yes, that's underutilized. I know that doesn't really,
And how much is in that fund?
I don't know what the interest balance is or what we can utilize. Those are the things we need to iron out, because we're only allowed to use 75% of the interest earned. It's not really clear, is that once a quarter, is that 75% of the interest earned in a year? Like, there's no real, it's really not very clear on the best way to do it. So we kind of like don't want to accidentally spend it wrong, so we've been just trying to get some more details on that. But, I mean, we probably get 15 grand a year, close to between $10,000 and $15,000 a year in interest. And we can spend up to 75% of that. So even at, let's say the low estimate, 10,000, so we can spend $7,500 a year and we're not doing it.
We should look backwards, because this year alone on GA, we paid for a couple of funerals.
Yeah.
We get 70% of that money back from the state, but we should still look to see if we can cover some of that. We can look backwards, right? So we can look back over the last 12 months, see if we can apply.
Does anyone have anything else under maintenance?
Thank you.
General assistance.
General assistance, anyone have anything there? I don't think we could do anything on sanitation. We're stuck there.
I do have a question about sanitation.
Yep.
This is just more for the feeling. For old corrugated cardboard, is that the stuff that gets wet that they can't recycle and we gotta pay to ship it out because they didn't put a cover over it?
I don't know, that was a good question.
Steve, transfer council guy?
I wasn't listening, excuse me.
Sleeping.
I know.
Old corrugated cardboard
Yep.
for $4,000, $4,600. Is that the cardboard that gets wet, they can't recycle it, so we gotta pay to ship it out?
No, that's a cardboard that comes in the dump, but the price of that's gone way down. Nobody's buying it anymore, so I don't know why that particular. All the cardboard should go to the transfer station. All right, they got a big bin for it, big dumpster.
Yeah, but when it gets wet, when it rains out, they can't recycle it. It becomes trash basically, and they're just burning it. They're
The
not
dumpster's
recycling.
wide open.
That's what I'm saying.
Has been forever.
Colin, some,
Yeah, I know, I hear you, but,
some companies will take that if it's wet,
yeah,
Colin.
right. They sell it somewhere,
Yeah.
it goes. I mean, there's not a lot of companies buying it anymore, but.
Good call.
I can tell you, and I know Waterford a little bit better, but you pay for everything that leaves.
Yeah.
Well, except for metal. Metal,
Right.
you'll get money for, but almost
way.
everything else you pay to get rid of it.
But Maine doesn't charge us for recyclables. Isn't cardboard recyclable? Why am I paying
No,
for that?
even those, you're gonna pay by the ton, it's just not very much. You pay for everything.
So is this zero for Maine fees for receiving recyclables not accurate? We need to up
These
that?
are last year's numbers. I didn't even know where to get information on this. So we have not received any new updates on what the cost per ton is going to be, any of that. And I don't know why those fees are zero.
Didn't we just give you a new budget for the transfer station?
This is not transfer station, this is tipping fees, this is
Oh, for
different.
the fees, sorry.
Yeah, there's hauling fees and tipping fees.
My other question, and it's probably not this board, but more just a general statement while everybody's here. When was the last time we actually did an evaluation of the split between Casco and Naples and the tonnage?
There's
Last I
money in
heard,
this one.
what's that?
There's money in this one. Casco wants it done.
They want to do it, so there's money in here to do it again?
It's coming up.
You might get scared.
Oh, I mean, it could go either way, I know, but I mean, it is what it is, you can't get away from it. You just want to keep.
You talking about the 56-44 split?
Yeah, like years ago, Kevin used to tell me that, they had dumpsters out there, and one was labeled Naples and one Casco, and each resident threw it in whatever town they were from, and that's how they evaluated the split on the transfer station.
The transfer station board just asked for a reevaluation. Probably gonna start next month or something.
Where's the
I
evaluation?
got a dumpster at my house because I won't deal with that place over there.
I mean, in my mind, I envision that Casco has more year-round residents than we do. We have more tourists.
Well, what's that?
We have more tourists that aren't here, Airbnbs that may not be going to the transfer station. So I mean, who knows? I'm more just curious, I guess.
I like the idea of discussing dumpsters this year.
Yeah, but then you're paying twice. You're paying to get rid of your stuff in your dumpster, and you're still paying for the transfer station when you use it.
No, I mean, at the transfer station, Naples one versus a catch. It'd be easy to figure it out that way.
It'd be very easy,
Yeah. You don't have to count or do any of that crap.
but
Sorry,
I don't know
moving on
if
to.
they, I don't know if they do that because there's no second compactor.
Moving on to fire department. Any suggestions on changes?
Which one of these lines is the additional person that they want?
So if you look at,
Probably be yellow.
no, it says the additional medic pay as scheduled dedicates the 49,494.
Yep. That was the additional person.
Yep.
Where's that at?
So it's
There's 3 areas where there's increases on this
Yeah.
that represent that extra medic.
And then I think that instead of them having 5 people in that fire station during the day, they need to cut it down to 4, and he needs to take, what it would be,
Some days it's only 3 there, like today.
that's a staff problem on his end, but if he's gonna budget for them, so if you got, if you took one person a day a week out of there, he could take 3,120 hours out of his payroll. If he cut it down to 2 people during the day in there.
Did you say 2 people during the day?
If he cut it down to 2 people, like besides, I'm talking 2, down to 2 per diem, not talking with the chief, the deputy chief being there, but if he cut it down to 2 per diem people there, because there's 4 people in the fire station already.
You could also look at a safety factor.
But you're doing 2, if you're averaging 2.5 calls a day,
Listen, that's every EMS. You gotta look at the safety factor of going into a building.
You can't fight a fire with 3 guys.
You can't act like other neighboring departments and go in hog wild because it's gonna cost you in the long run.
and this budget's getting, it just keeps going and going and going. When's it gonna stop?
It's not.
not. It's fire
They ain't
fire
never
rescue.
gonna stop, Tim.
Fire rescue.
Fire and rescue, it's no different than that.
There doesn't need to be 5 people in that fire station during the day, it doesn't.
Well,
So your house goes up in flames.
And there's insurance for a reason.
You're gonna want
Yep.
75 of them.
If it goes up, I want it to
Exactly.
burn.
You know what impacts your insurance? That fire department, and what their level of safety is rated at.
when they change that,
Then your insurance is gonna go through the roof.
And it's not that I'm standing up for that department. I've been in the fire service. 2 in, 2 out. There's safety factors you're gonna go with. The actual information that comes across needs to be accurate. And
Well, and if you only have 2 people there, rescue goes on a transport. You can't staff your second rescue.
If you got 4 people there, yes, you can.
If you have 4 people, you just said cut it to 2.
I'm saying 2, the full-time, the deputy chief and the fire chief stay in 2 per diems. Cut 1 per diem out during the day. Instead of having 3 per diems, cut it down to 2. That's what I'm saying.
So what do you do on the weekends?
That's,
2 people in that station.
I said 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, and then however it falls on the weekends, it falls.
Well, hopefully you don't have a heart attack on
So-
the weekend on the second rescue, you know?
not to, I'm not trying to cut you short, Tim, but that's a discussion you guys have next week when you vote.
The 10,000 hours is highlighted. Usually you highlight them for a pointed issue.
So, if you'll notice, all the other ones say 8670.
Oh, yep. 8760.
Or 8760, yes, thank you. Hold on, I gotta remember. I've talked this over with Justin a lot. We increased something, and rather than increasing it, we basically split the difference. Rather than increasing it on a basic tech or a I thought it had something to do with the weekend differential. Can I get back to you on that?
Yeah.
Did he say the advance and the paramedic are gonna get paid the same, and that's why he did that?
No. It had something to do, if I remember correctly, with leveling out, because some shifts he has two medics on and a basic, so it's to level out basically the funds available for what staffing level he has.
Correct. In a perfect world, he'll have a basic and an advanced and a medic on every shift, but it doesn't work out that way. And, but I think that's what that 49,494 is, the 10,008 hours is something different. I'll get clarification from Justin and we can bring it up, and talk about it the next meeting.
Yeah, it was like a happy medium to cover the three different
Yeah.
base rates or whatever, you know what I mean?
Basic, intermediate.
Yeah. So we inflated the middle one to kind of make up for.
All right, marine safety. How many people is underneath marine safety? How many employees?
Depends.
Okay, so, last year, 2 years ago, there were 17 employees underneath him. So,
Correct.
so how many are there now?
4 or 5.
4 or 5? Okay, all right.
That was a question I had also. On trainings, did that change? Trainings and seminars?
Looks like they're asking for it to go down, and my guess would be is because a lot of the training is now in the harbor master.
That's what I was wondering. Did this change from the first version we had?
Probably.
Okay, that's why. And then the only other thing I had was under maintenance, $4 grand. Seems like an awful lot for maintenance for a boat. For something we're putting 300 hours on. So,
Yeah, I'll flag it.
Yes. Hey, so here's a question. The gentleman to my left just answered for me. We're moving the server out of that building up to the fire station as our backup, right? Why are we heating that building? Shouldn't that just become a whole water?
It's public water source. Yep, there's a spigot on that. It's actually a tested public water source.
I knew the one in Legion, but I didn't know that one.
That one is not a tested public water source.
This one, the well's not, over at the Legion? Legion, I'm not talking Legion, but it's the town well. I see tons of people filling up water, it's not tested.
because the sign that says non-potable water.
That is per the Maine State Drinking Water Program.
Isn't there another spigot somewhere else? Or is that one designated town water supply?
It's the only spigot I got. I don't have one here.
How much does it cost us to well if we want to put potable water out of the Legion? I know Legion actually has a ball field, it's spigot.
It was.
$35.
35 a month.
It's actually.
Gotta test it.
So we're spending 35 on that one a month?
That is not its own well.
Oh, it's on
That
there.
well feeds, this well feeds that well. Most of the heating cost is electricity. And that, the oil is only a backup.
We're not in that building.
Currently, we are.
We want to
This is for another.
dispatch? Ready to move on to dispatch?
Yeah.
Nothing we can do there, I believe.
Nope.
Point of order.
Unanticipated
Kevin.
expenses.
That's Mike.
Do you want? He said point of order.
Of
Yeah.
what?
So he said his point of order, and then he put himself back on mute.
So we moved on over dispatch, because there's nothing we can change there, so we're going unanticipated expenses, which, same thing.
Yep.
And then, general debt service. Any questions there?
These are just the bonds that we're either have or estimated to take out, right?
Yep. These are the payments that we're already making.
So that's gonna drop by 42 grand for the ambulance, let's get pushed.
So that's what you guys vote.
Oh, no, I'm just asking what, let's see budget committees.
Yeah, that's, we haven't voted, but, and then is it the Chevy Tahoe's is ACO, right? And so can we get for next week, can we get what the actual amount is sitting in the reserve for?
Because these are different numbers.
Yeah, I don't think that's accurate because,
It's not, and last time you and I looked at it, it was about $4,100.
yeah.
Okay, but can we get the actual number and then,
Yes.
so we can vote to move that in and drop that principal, so maybe we can drop that payment by some?
That payment cannot be more than the GMC 3,500. That number's gotta be inaccurate.
What are you talking about now? It is, and the reason being is because your truck costs more than mine. And the reason being is because I traded 2 vehicles in for mine.
Gotcha.
So my truck was only $40,000. And that's the only reason why they were, because it was a $70,000 truck.
And I'm talking about moving it over to your ACO because it was reserved for your ACO.
To pay it out of reserve.
So we use
It
that
was just sitting
reserve
in-
money
Yeah, it was sitting in the ACO.
to make
We
some of the payments and,
Yeah, we did use some of it.
Where are you coming up with the 2.9% on the rec center? Is that numbers we've gotten hard from a bank, or is that?
Maine Bond Bank. Yep. But that may not be the rate when we go out for the loan. That's what it was when we asked.
When would you ask, 10 years ago? Because that seems like a low number.
This summer.
This
The main bond bank isn't like normal bank.
Hey, Brady, what do
Maine
you,
Bond Bank, you can't walk in there. They only do it twice a year, and it has to be a municipality. So, and it's funded by the Maine State Legislature.
Right.
And the state treasurer sits on the board. Like, Maine Bond Bank is something kind of special.
Colin, do you have a question?
Brady, when do you anticipate getting that bond?
Probably fall. The spraying opportunity is basically closed, or closing. So the next opportunity wouldn't be until fall.
Correct me if I'm wrong, isn't that around November-ish,
Yeah,
October,
yeah,
November?
late fall.
So they're not breaking ground on that rec center this year?
We'll see.
They're raising funds for the nonprofits to meet that 500,000.
All right, roads and highways?
Somebody's gonna think I'm crazy, but I'm gonna say it anyway. Sometime in the very near future, I'd like to see a capital request to put doors on that sand salt shed.
I would love to.
When the storm's over, close the doors.
I would very much love to. We have, I tried to pose that a couple of years ago, Ted. We had a problem with a couple drivers that had blacked the left, right-hand side as they backed in. And thankfully, for the last couple of years, they haven't. So, I would like to, and I don't know, I'm gonna say that it's probably gonna cost us $15,000.
$30,000.
Is it 30?
If you want a roll-up door, steel roll-up door, and you need an entry door.
Yep.
But over time, you might,
Put the fence back up, closing the gate.
either way, but
Yeah,
I think it needs to be more secure.
very much so.
All right, recreation?
Who came up with Brian's pay increase?
Me. Salary survey.
Didn't Jim ask for a breakdown of that salary survey?
I don't know.
So I looked at some numbers. He'll be one of the highest paid ones in the state.
No, he will not.
No.
He absolutely will not.
Is there?
Every town that's in his peer group pays that or more.
Gray's being one.
We've lost plan 57.
Yep.
Thousand for the year. It's 20,000 less than here. I don't know, it just seems like a hell of a jump in 1 year.
Well, when you're underpaid significantly,
Yeah, but look at all your your public works guys, how much they're underpaid, so you're gonna treat it fit.
we're
You're gonna
making
treat it
adjustments
fair.
for them too.
Is there a number that you're willing, that you think that there's appropriate to go in between? So it's not so significant, but not like a slap in the face for lack of better
I mean, I like
terms.
Brian, think
I'm
he's a great
tired.
guy, does a great job. That's a lot of money in one shot.
Okay, so if we've underpaid him for 4 years, when do we make it up?
You've underpaid a lot of your employees for years, when are we gonna make that up?
That's why there's a
Okay,
bunch of
so
adjustments.
instead of arguing back and forth like children, can we please, is there a number that
That's
is
my
in
number.
between?
That's my number.
Okay, so we would come up with a number that's in between. So the budget committee for next week, could we please think of a number that may be in between that would be reasonable for what he does if we do not agree with the number that is proposed?
I would think it would be a good thing for Randy to show you the towns that he compared to.
I believe that was asked for last week, but he's now saying that it was not asked for last week. And I remember the discussion very specifically saying that it was a private program that was used, and he didn't want to give it out because he didn't want it to get out to the public. So we will not be seeing that.
It's Freedom of Information Act.
Is there
I
any
compared
other
him to
discussions?
Bridgeton, Harrison, Casco. That's where those numbers came from. Call up their town managers, you can get any information you want. That's the number. He is massively underpaid.
So you didn't use a program like
I
you said
did.
last time?
I used MMA and I called the town managers to make sure the numbers were right.
Did
So
you
I
say you
double
used-
verified on
But
that.
did you say you used a program that was
I
a
did.
special program that was?
MMA,
You
you
didn't
have
wanna
to be
get
a
released to the-
subscriber to have the
Salary survey.
information.
That's what it was, okay.
MMA salary survey.
So can we see the numbers of the other program, of the other
Well, when-
departments?
I'm gonna tell you what they are right now. And I think something you need to think about is losing Brian.
I don't want losing, not at all.
Okay, well, if the other, I'll tell you right now, he's had a job offer.
Bridgeton, Casco,
Harrison,
Pat, do you know an estimated number of revenue for this recreation department?
Yeah, it should be in the summary, in the revenue summary.
And it is
That's
quite,
fine, go ahead and find it.
I am, I'm gonna give it to you.
I mean, he does bring a lot of revenue in, there's no
Summer
doubt.
camp bonuses right here is 106.
Yeah. He does bring a lot of money in,
Well,
but it
that,
also goes right back out.
that number, that 106,000 was over the summer, like the spring and summer months, so it crossed fiscal years. Last year, I think they brought in for summer camp, like 80-something thousand. 83,000. It depends on when they pay. Like right now, this year, we're actually a little bit behind on revenue. Normally, we have a little bit more for people that are pre-signing up for day camp. It's a little bit behind than normal, but it's starting to pick up, so.
It's only been online for 2 weeks now.
Right, yeah.
129,517.
So I increased the day camp, because you guys brought it up at the last meeting. I think I had it at like 68,000 or something. I brought it up to 75,000. I don't want to overstate revenue. I'm a little gun shy with that, considering what we're dealing with. So his department brings in about 129.5. But like the Naples Community 5K, for example, that's $5,600, but that's what it costs to run that event. That's a wash, you know what I mean? But yes, he brings in roughly $130,000 of offsetting revenue to the town.
Birchton pays 3803, Casco pays 3785.
Hold on, please, 3803, is that the new director, or is that the old director?
That is the data I had.
On the
When I
new
asked.
director or the old director?
Call it. I mean,
All I know is when I called and asked.
when was that, Randy?
3803,
When did you call roughly?
a couple months ago.
Okay.
So 38,000?
3803 an hour.
An hour.
Oh, give me an hour,
Which is about
okay.
79,000, 79,102.
The new director started last August, so that is probably correct.
And then 3785 for Casco, and I've already had a call on them because they're making adjustments.
And Harrison?
I don't have it.
I thought you said you had Harrison.
This is a huge spreadsheet. That's my comp crew. I don't have everybody.
The main thing, in my opinion, is that he's an all-star person for this town, and I wouldn't want to do anything that would ever make him feel anything less than that, or sacrifice a little bit of money for a great person, because he's pretty irreplaceable, honestly.
I don't disagree with you, but if you're gonna do that for one employee, you better be doing it with all of
Oh,
my.
I
Did a
You're
salary survey for
making an
everybody.
assumption.
I totally disagree with you.
You are making an assumption. There have been pay raises steadily throughout the last 2-3 years. There have been pay increases. We've been finally trying to get caught up to our peers, because the people in this town have been underpaid, most of them for many, many years. So he's not doing it for one person. He's done it in
One,
previous
a
years.
jump that big, you're doing that for one person, because it's not,
No,
Because not everybody was underpaid by $15,000 a year.
yeah, the salary survey I did on every single employee. I looked at the planning board, I looked at the select board, I looked at myself, everybody, absolutely everybody. And then I came up with, okay, here's the adjustments that we need to do this year. Some people, they're paid appropriately, other people are way underpaid. And we've had people get job offers, and we had to counter them, and when we did the salary survey, we found out that their job offer was legit, and our counter was the appropriate counter. I know what I did.
All right, community groups?
I'm gonna ask a question.
Sorry.
Hopefully I get an answer, and if not, I'll find my answer. But don't take it the wrong way. I know Crosswalk Community Outreach does great things. I get that. However, what I was told is they serve, let's say, 8 communities. And Naples is the only community that gives them money?
This is the only town they asked for money this year. She stood right there and said it. I don't want to give her a penny.
That's,
Didn't they pay us last year to rent the senior center, whatever that amount was, some money, some sort of funds?
my reason for my question, Steve, is
Alright.
why aren't the other communities?
I know.
But you got people like Joanne Moore that gets online and bash the town of Naples.
Okay, we don't need to, those are not conversations we need to have here. That has nothing to do with the budget.
Well, my question has something to do with the budget.
I wasn't talking to you.
It's a-
I was not talking to you.
It's a legit question.
I was not talking.
My question to them would be, why don't they ask the other communities for money
That is
also?
a very legit
I
question.
would think that's a very fair question.
Yes, I wasn't talking.
I think she
that.
said 13 towns they service, but this was the only one
That pays.
that paid. We haven't paid them yet. We didn't give them anything last year.
Yeah, I see
Yeah,
that.
they didn't ask,
I see
they didn't
that.
ask last year.
Okay.
But they could spread that 15,000 out over numerous towns.
For
That
sure.
was-
They've also done quite a bit of fundraising.
They had a, Ted, I think they had a $225,000 a year last year. Is what they fundraised.
Wow, that's a good.
It was a big number.
So I know that my recommendation when we vote is going to be to not vote the 15,000.
That's your next week's discussion.
Yes, but just letting.
I was
that
just
would- that
asking
would
the
be my
question for my own clarification.
I've also heard talk of recommendation of not giving Muddy River as well. Not sure how that's gonna go. I do know that I'm looking into making a significant cut in the public library only because there's an endowment that's out there. He said that they would be able to fundraise. They are not fundraising currently for any of the money that they're asking for. And in relation to the surrounding towns, this number is double what the surrounding towns are paying for their library.
The Naples Food Pantry that Connie runs, she's looking to add a freezer. I would like to give her more money than what she.
That's a discussion.
Which one is that,
That's,
Tim?
that's the.
Community resource.
Gotcha, I see it now, okay.
But that's noted for next week.
I got a question. It
Yep.
was mentioned about cutting some money towards Muddy River Snow Seekers. In revenue for registration on snowmobiles, what do we make? Any idea?
It's in your revenue sheet.
I'm not sure.
I don't know if it's broke down in there per, vehicle for registrations.
It is, we get a kickback from the state, looks like we've estimated 1,800 in the last 3 years. I can't tell you what the actual is, but when we looked at anticipated revenues, we got an average of the last 3 years, so it's probably about that. It's probably pretty accurate.
And then if you look at the website, they have pretty significant sponsors and they have dues for memberships as well. So they're, outside agencies.
I was just wondering why there was a number of organizations that aren't Naples specific, that they got 0 last year. And, I mean, would we be considering that? I thought the move last year of saying we are gonna focus on our local organizations made a lot of sense.
I agree with that.
I'm sorry, I'm not following you. That are.
Well, I feel like there's a number of these that aren't Naples related necessarily, and so last year, I appreciated you guys making the recommendation that we were gonna focus on Naples-centric organizations.
Oh, yeah.
So, okay.
Yes, so these are just everyone
What
that
they're
applied this
asking,
year.
yes,
Yeah,
okay,
that asked,
okay.
and so, yeah, we haven't made
Okay.
any changes.
These organizations are not Naples centric, but they do serve Naples residents.
Right.
And they usually present that data when
Right.
they come. But yeah, right.
Like, for example, like that Opportunity Alliance, they asked for 5,000 last year, we cut them last year.
Got it.
Probably a chance to cut them this year as well.
Did I miss why are we increasing Greater Bridges and Chamber of Commerce from 500 to 12,000?
So that's what they're asking for.
That's what they're asking.
And-
We're not, we haven't done that.
Yeah, we haven't got that far.
Yeah, they're asking for. But I want to make a note of your face there, Steve. Intergovernmental, there's nothing we can change there.
That county tax one might actually go up.
But county, you think might go up?
It might.
Do we know when that might happen?
I don't know, I don't have the timeline. You know when the county says all the county numbers, their tax. I think it has
If
something
it does,
to do
there's
with-
nothing we can do about it anyway.
Yeah, but I think that it's, something to do with the ice activity and stuff like that, I don't know.
Yeah.
I went through and organized the whole bunch.
I think that's the end of it, right?
Yeah, just on revenues, if this is where it says snowmobile, it's 1,800.
All right, so next week, we meet and vote as a budget committee. And then the following week, following week is a public hearing with us and you guys, and then you vote on the budget. This is here, public hearing, combined budget committee and.
I don't think the select board is, I don't know if the select board is supposed to be there for that meeting.
The public hearing portion is only for you guys.
Yeah, for you guys to cast your votes.
Next week.
But we do meet on the 23rd combined for the budget, for the Board of Selectmen to vote on that. Is that correct?
We are voting next week, the 18th.
Yes.
Yes.
So then it says the 23rd, public hearing, combined budget committee and board of selectmen meeting.
What did you do last year?
So that is this
And then board
this
selectmen votes,
regularly
okay.
scheduled, that's on a
Select
Monday,
board.
by the way, not a Wednesday, but that's a regular select board meeting, and that's where they are gonna vote on what is presented.
Okay, so it's your public hearing,
But they hold their public hearing the same night?
it's not our public hearing.
Oh, I think it was, but
What did you guys do last year?
Isn't it a public
we
hearing
had,
if you're
we had
gonna
a
vote?
public hearing on the budget before the town meeting, but not on the same night that we voted.
Not on the same night as a regular select board meeting?
It is on a select board meeting, but not the night that we make our votes for the budget. That would kind of be counterproductive,
You
wouldn't it?
do one after you meet?
Yes,
Okay,
the budget public hearing,
okay. But you've already voted.
but we've already voted of how we're gonna present it, yes,
Okay, so that's more of an informational.
yes.
Okay, so we'll have to add that to the schedule. The warrant has to be published right around the 23rd, like, as soon as you guys vote, you gotta fill out the
You guys
warrant.
you can publish the warrant, and we can have the public hearing after.
Yeah,
It's not, just because we're having a public hearing doesn't mean we're gonna change our mind on how we voted.
yeah, okay.
It just gives the public a chance to ask questions and formulate their own opinion.
Yeah. Apparently the ballots are printed in California. That's what's driving the timeline on that.
Well, on the warrant, don't we put how many people on the
Yeah,
budget
yeah.
committee versus the, yeah, so.
And that's
so
why,
it ha-
that's why we vote on it on the 23rd, so then they can get the ballots printed.
Right, okay. So we don't usually go to your votes.
I think you did come to it, but you don't vote again.
Right, no.
Yeah.
Is it just in case you guys have questions?
I think that's why we've gone in the past is
In case there's questions?
questions on how we
Yeah.
recommended
Yep,
and why we recommended.
okay.
So are you going to the select board meeting on the 23rd?
I think we should have a few representatives there if they have, I guess it's up to them if they want us there.
Yeah. Your whole committee should be there.
That way there, if they have questions, they can hear why we recommended what we did.
That's Monday, not Wednesday.
Correct.
So what are you gonna give to the select board? Are you gonna give them like a
How you voted.
full warrant?
They're gonna get what we recommend,
What we voted on the 18th.
When they vote,
then they make the warrants.
But is it a summary one, like for admin, here's the vote and here's the recommended number?
Yes.
well, there's details on what was presented by the town manager and what was proposed by the budget committee.
Yep.
So it'll say reduced by $4,000, increased by $2,000 or whatever. So it's gonna have our proposal, their proposal.
But it's the summary page, right?
Well,
Like what is
I'll have to look at
It
what was
basically, if
presented
I
last
remember
year.
right, it's basically what we got tonight, just with
Our numbers.
our numbers, your numbers,
Okay, okay.
How you voted to get to
and
your
how we
number.
voted.
Right.
Yep.
By line item or by
By section.
fund?
By department.
Yeah.
By section, okay.
Taxpayers don't vote on line item, they vote on total.
Right. I'm just wondering how the recommendation comes to you
By the section,
by the section. Okay.
by the
That's what I
department.
need. So it's a summary page,
Yes.
basically. Okay, all right.
Well, you don't want to see, like, if we cut something like within.
If your number comes to us reduced by $100,000, I'm gonna ask the question to the committee, where did you recommend making that cut?
Right, so,
Somebody's gotta answer.
right. So, okay, so but you still just want a summary sheet.
So it'll be like,
It'll be like
Obvious.
this, but with a separate
It'll
line
be
item of what we recommended.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah, but they're gonna be presented with just a summary sheet.
I'm gonna look at what we presented last year and we'll mimic it and it'll be clear.
Can we make
That's all I
a
got.
motion to?
Anything else? I mean, anybody else got anything? Yeah,
Motion we adjourn.
Second.
motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed. Good night, Kevin.